So there I was, Lu Ming, 25 years old, lying in bed at my parents' house in the middle of nowhere, asking an AI chatbot what to do when you have too much money. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Let me back up. 3 days ago, I was a regular guy in Shanghai. New media job, 8,000 yuan a month. Sounds okay until you do the math. Rent eats half, food eats a quarter, and the rest just evaporates. Like my savings account was allergic to money. I couldn't even order takeout without comparing 3 apps for the best coupon. Tragic. Then the doctor hit me with the combo. Your blood pressure is 170/120. You're 25. Stop this. Basically, my body was filing a resignation letter whether I liked it or not. So I called my mom. Mom, I'm coming home. She paused. Okay. That pause contained an entire novel of disappointment. But hey, at least she didn't hang up. Home is Yunming County. Tiny place in southern Hunan. 60-something thousand people. No bullet train station. The fanciest brand in town is a budget milk tea shop. A bowl of beef noodles costs less than $1. My dad cracked open some cheap liquor, 15 yuan a pound, sold in a plastic jug like engine coolant, and asked me if I'd failed at life. I drank the liquor. I did not answer. Then, on day 3, my phone screen went black while I was scrolling videos. Golden text appeared. County consumption gold system activated. I thought I was having a stroke. It said, population times 100 equals daily payment. Yunming County population, 600,247. Today's deposit, 60,024,700 yuan. 60 million yuan. I checked my bank app with shaking hands. The number was right there. 8 digits. Sitting in my account like it owned the place. I went to an ATM at 2 a.m. like a criminal. Withdrew 100 yuan. Held it under a streetlight. Flipped it over 17 times. Real watermark. Real texture. Real money. Then I tested the rules, because obviously there's always a catch. Buy milk at the local supermarket? Works. Order the county's finest yellow braised chicken rice with extra drumstick? 18 yuan. Approved. Buy a video streaming membership online? Declined. Order a jacket shipped to Shanghai? Declined. Transfer to my investment account? Big fat declined. The money only works inside Yunming County. Step 1 foot outside the county line, and my 60 million becomes 60 million paperweights. So let me paint this picture for you. I'm a guy with 60 million yuan per day, trapped in a town where the most expensive apartment is 4,000 yuan per square meter. I could buy 100 houses before lunch and still have money left to renovate all of them. With gold toilets. I sat on a bench by the river, watching old men fish, having a full existential crisis in the nicest weather I'd felt in years. That's when I asked the chatbot, what do you do when you literally can't spend all your money? It told me to pay the clouds and the trees. Then it told me to pay my taxes. Then it said, and I quote the vibe, just kidding, bragging is tax-free. Very helpful. Thanks. But here's where it gets interesting. The system had a little gray note, almost invisible, hiding at the bottom like the terms and conditions nobody reads. When Yunming County's population reaches 1 million, a special county rise reward will be triggered. Full system upgrade, 1 million people. I've got 600,000. I need 400,000 more humans to move to a place that doesn't even have a train station. I looked at the old guys fishing. I looked at the narrow road behind me. A 3-wheeled farm truck loaded with cabbages puttered past, leaving a little cloud of exhaust like a sad goodbye kiss. For 100,000 people. Here, in this town, where the biggest evening entertainment is watching said cabbage truck go by. I typed to the chatbot. I thought about it. The clouds don't have a payment account. This is a problem. It replied instantly. So you're just going to give the money to me then? I typed back. No. Serious question. If you had unlimited money but could only spend it in a tiny county, what would you do? It said, buy land. Build factories. Infrastructure. Invest in local industry. Or do charity. But it depends on your budget and the local economy. Wait. Are you writing a novel? I stared at that answer for a long time. Buy land. Build factories. Infrastructure. I looked up at the main street. Bare trees. Crooked red lanterns left over from New Year's, swinging in the wind like they'd given up. 60 million a day. A small town with nothing to lose. Maybe, just maybe, I could actually do something with this. So the AI chatbot told me to buy land, build factories, do infrastructure. Great advice. Very inspiring. Just one tiny problem. I have 0 connections, 0 business experience, zero company registration, and zero clue how government paperwork works. All I have is 60 million yuan a day and a pair of flip-flops. I needed a starting point. And there's an old saying, if you want to know how rich a town really is, don't read the GDP reports. Look at the entertainment industry. Specifically, look at where people go to relax and waste money. So I opened the food delivery app, typed spa/foot massage, and sorted by price, highest first. The king of Yunmeng County's luxury wellness scene? Royal Golden Goblet Bathing Center. Their most expensive package, 198 yuan. About 27 bucks. That's the ceiling. The absolute top. The Burj Khalifa of foot rubs in this town. I did some quick math. With 60 million a day, I'd need approximately 300,000 foot massages to burn through my budget. My feet would dissolve before my bank account did. I scrolled through the reviews. Technician was good, but the watermelon in the fruit plate wasn't fresh. Place smells like cigarettes, but I'll leave a good review because I'm worried they'll go bankrupt. Highly recommend technician number 8. She made me scream. Coming back. All right. Field research time. I hopped in a cab. The ride across the entire county took 15 minutes. Cost 7 yuan. 7. In Shanghai, that wouldn't even get the driver to acknowledge your existence. The Royal Golden Goblet looked exactly like you'd imagine. 4 stories of gold-tinted mirror glass, 2 stone lions out front looking tired of their lives, and a lobby the size of a basketball court with nobody in it. The receptionist was watching comedy clips on her phone at full volume. She didn't notice me until I was standing right in front of her. Professional smile, activated. Massage or foot treatment, sir? Foot treatment. The 198 one. She led me upstairs. The room had European floral wallpaper peeling at the corners, a TV that was off, and a complimentary fruit plate, consisting of 3 cherry tomatoes, 2 slices of watermelon, so thin they were basically transparent, and a sad handful of sunflower seeds. This was the VIP experience. I changed into the disposable robe and waited. Knock knock. Come in. A woman walked in carrying a wooden foot basin. She had a perm of tiny curls, and the crow's feet around her eyes were fighting a losing war against her foundation. She was, let's say, experienced. 45 minimum. Boss, the water might be a little hot. Test it first, she smiled. Sis, can I get a different technician? She didn't even blink. Clearly this happened 12 times a day. Sure, one moment. 5 minutes later, knock knock again. This one had a simple ponytail, less makeup, looked fresher. She set down the basin and introduced herself confidently. I'm number 8. Highest rated technician in the whole shop. I looked at her. How old are you? 25. I squinted. Ma'am, do you honestly look like someone born in 2001? She pursed her lips. Under 40. I sighed. 37, 38, somewhere in there. Fine. You'll do. I put my feet in the basin. Number 8 grabbed a stool and went to work on my calves. Strong hands. Very strong. The kind of grip that says, I've been doing this for 15 years and your leg muscles mean nothing to me. Just got back from out of town? She asked. How do you know? Local people don't come here in the middle of the day and swap technicians, she grinned. You city boys come back and think we're outdated. But this is all there is. I asked why there were no young technicians. She laughed like I'd told the funniest joke of the year. Young girls? Here? They all left for Guangdong or Shenzhen. A factory job with free meals pays better than this. Anyone under 30 with working legs is already gone. Why didn't you leave? Can't. She switched to my other foot. Got elderly parents. Got kids. A woman my age finding a 3,000 yuan job in this county while still being home for dinner? That's the dream. That is the good outcome. Then she hit some pressure point on the bottom of my foot and I nearly levitated off the chair. Chronic sleep deprivation. Kidney energy deficiency. Young man. She diagnosed me like a disappointed doctor. I ignored the medical commentary and kept asking questions. What about the textile factory on the east side? The machinery plant down south? Those used to be decent. Dead. Gone. Buried. She waved dismissively. Now the only real jobs are government positions. Everyone else is selling apartments, selling insurance, or delivering food. That's the whole menu. I lay there staring at the peeling wallpaper, brain spinning. 600,000 people. Need 1 million. That's 400,000 more humans. And humans aren't ducks. You can't just herd them into town and call it done. People need jobs. Good jobs. Schools for their kids. Hospitals that work. If I just stood on the street handing out cash like a maniac, sure, I'd attract a crowd. But the second the free money stopped, everyone would vanish. I'd just create inflation and chaos, and the county would be worse off than before. The only real answer? Create jobs. Lots of them. Good-paying ones. I was deep in thought about economic development and population migration theory when I fell asleep. Number 8 shook me awake. Handsome, time's up. Want to add another session? I didn't add another session. My feet had been through enough spiritual awakening for one day. I walked out of the royal golden goblet into the afternoon sun and decided to scout the new part of town. The roads here were wide, 6 lanes, built for traffic that never showed up. Every now and then an electric scooter would zip past like a lonely fish in an empty ocean. The streets had people, sure, but it was all grandparents and moms with toddlers. Young faces? Endangered species. Practically extinct. I stopped at a real estate office. The window was plastered with listings. Brand new apartment, no furniture, 3,800 yuan per square meter. Old neighborhood near a school, no elevator, 3,200. And up top, the crown jewel, a villa, 890,000 yuan. Not even a million. In Shanghai, that buys you a parking spot. Maybe half a parking spot. In a bad neighborhood, I walked the entire commercial street end to end. 40 minutes. Here's what I learned. The fanciest clothing brands in town are Anta and Step. Basically the sweatpants and sneakers tier. Transportation? Taxi starts at 5 yuan. Bus is 1 yuan, and most people just ride electric scooters. The shopping mall is a 3-story building called Wanjifu. Supermarket on the first floor, clothes on the second, restaurants on the third. Half the third floor is empty with space for rent, signs taped to the windows like sad little surrender flags. And the county's 3 forms of entertainment? Mahjong, TikTok, drinking. That's it. That's the whole menu. Pick 2 and combine. I sat down at a noodle shop, exhausted. Ordered lamb stew noodles. 8 yuan. When that bowl arrived, steam hit my face like a warm hug from someone who actually cares about you. Real bone broth. No chemical shortcuts. No food technology innovations. The noodles were hand-pulled, even thickness. 7 or 8 pieces of lamb. Not huge, but honest. I took one bite. Delicious. Genuinely, outrageously delicious. Better than every 20 yuan fancy noodle shop in Shanghai combined. Those places charge triple and give you sadness in a bowl. This little roadside shop just casually destroyed them for 8 yuan. The guy at the next table was eating plain vegetable noodles, 5 yuan, reading a folded newspaper, wearing a wrinkled gray jacket with hair going in 6 different directions. He yelled at the owner, "Boss, add a bread roll, 1 yuan. I know. This was the economic reality. A place where adding a 1 yuan bread roll to your 5 yuan noodles is a conscious financial decision. Now here's my problem. Even if I forget about the million population goal, I need to develop this county just to have stuff to spend money on. You can't burn 60 million a day in a town where the most expensive thing is a villa that costs less than a Shanghai closet. But me? I'm a social media guy. I've written articles, edited layouts, cut videos, run ad campaigns. Ask me to analyze a product's target demographic? I'm your man. Ask me to set up an industrial production line? I'd sooner perform surgery on myself. Money solves most problems, though. I just need to find people who actually know what they're doing. After the noodles, I Googled Yunming County Economic Development and Yunming County Industrial Structure. Got a bunch of government website links full of leadership speeches and bureaucratic fluff. Eventually, I dug up last year's work report. GDP, 19.86 billion yuan. Growth, 4.2%. The industry split was 44% agriculture, 35% manufacturing, 21% services. 74 industrial companies above the threshold, only 12 making over 100 million in revenue. The rest of the report was pure government poetry. Vigorously develop food processing and garment manufacturing traditional industries. Actively cultivate new materials and e-commerce emerging industries. Push forward high-quality county economic development with full force. Words, words, words. Signifying nothing. 2 useful takeaways, though. 1. The county's main thing is food processing, which makes sense because southern Hunan grows tons of grain. 2. Those 74 companies are not impressive. Nationally, this is a rounding error. Locally, could be worse, I guess. I walked home past the county government building. Iron gate open, row of black sedans parked inside, a few uniformed guys smoking out front. I stared at the brass nameplate for a few seconds. Nope, not yet. If I walked in there right now with nothing but, trust me bro, I have 60 million a day from a magic phone system, they'd call the police. Gotta build something real first. At home, Mom was in the kitchen snapping green beans. Your third uncle says come by tomorrow. He needs a worker. 3,500 a month. Mom, not yet. So what's your plan? Just wander around the house. I have some money. I want to start something. She froze mid-snap. You have money? You saved a few hundred yuan a month in Shanghai. I made some investments. Total lie. Smooth delivery though. She didn't buy it. Not even a little. How much? Don't waste it on nonsense. You're at that age now. I was actually going to have your aunt set you up on a blind date. Mom. I've got it handled. She stopped talking. But she started snapping those green beans with the fury of a woman who did not think her son had it handled. Also, Mom, I'm going to buy a car. That got her attention. She launched into a speech about how a Volkswagen Jetta is perfectly fine. Your father's has lasted forever. Very durable, very practical. Mom. I'm buying it myself. Just letting you know. I'll ask third uncle for advice. What kind of car? BMW, Mercedes, or Audi? She blinked. What's that? Never mind. Just don't blow all your money. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find a wife these days? Have some sense. Got it. I escaped to my room. At midnight, I opened the system panel. That golden text, glowing quietly. Today's deposit, 60,024,700 yuan. Received. Account balance, 120,049,400 yuan. 2 days, 120 million yuan in my bank account. Total amount I'd managed to spend, less than 300 yuan. A foot massage, some noodles, a cab ride, and a carton of milk. I can't spend it. I literally cannot spend this money fast enough. 120 million yuan, sitting in my bank account for 2 days, completely untouched, gathering digital dust. This is the world's stupidest problem, and I have no idea how to solve it. Next morning, I hopped on my dad's electric scooter and puttered through town. Yinming County at 8 a.m. is a different planet from Shanghai at 8 a.m. In Shanghai, the subway crushes you into a human pancake. Here, the busiest person on the street was the old guy frying dough sticks. I grabbed a bowl of spicy pepper soup and a fried bread thing. 4 yuan. Breakfast of champions. Then I rode east to third uncle's auto repair shop. And I'm using the word shop very generously. It was a yard with a tin roof, 5 or 6 cars waiting to be fixed, and a hand-painted sign that said, Jianjun Auto Repair, in white letters on red, except the white had gone yellow from sun and rain. Very vintage. Very rustic. Very, we accept cash only, energy. Inside, Uncle Jianjun was sitting on a destroyed sofa in a room full of cigarette smoke, scrolling his phone. The desk was covered in car parts flyers and used paper cups. Interior designed by someone who'd given up. Uncle, I want to buy a car. He perked up. Nice. Budget? Need me to chip in. How much is a Mercedes E300 these days? His cigarette nearly fell out of his mouth. Around 400,000? You want that? Yeah. He stared at me like I'd just told him I was going to Mars. How much money do you have? Enough. First time buying. Just need your expert eye. Well, he scratched his head. You'd have to go to the city for that. You know how many dealerships this county has? I shook my head. 2.5. He held up his fingers. 1 Chang'an, 1 BYD, and half a Cherry. That one just changed owners and is still being renovated. That counts as half. The city was out of the question. My magic money doesn't work outside county lines. It'd be like trying to pay with Monopoly money. Except even Monopoly money works in more locations than mine. What about secondhand? There's a used car lot up north. Let's go. Uncle grabbed his keys and slapped my shoulder with the pride of a man who'd just discovered his nephew wasn't a complete failure. Let's go? I always knew you'd make something of yourself. I raised you right, Uncle. You taught me to drink baijiu when I was 4. Took me to a foot massage parlor at 6. Karaoke at 8. And at 10 you. Let's go. Right now. Moving. The used car market was a bumpy concrete lot about the size of 2 basketball courts, with puddles reflecting the sky and rows of $5,000 to $10,000 family cars baking in the sun. The owner was a fat guy in a leather jacket, picking his teeth with a toothpick. He saw Uncle's van pull in and instantly transformed into a smiley salesman. Brother June, what brings you here? My nephew wants a car. Fat guy sized me up. Uncle told him to show us the best Mercedes E300 he had. The toothpick picking paused for exactly 1 beat. Then he flung the toothpick to the ground with the confidence of a man about to make a commission. Got one. Got one. Follow me. He led us to the back corner. Black Mercedes E300, polished up nicely, gleaming in the sun. Uncle circled it once, checked underneath, sat inside, came back out, and delivered his verdict with a single sentence. This car's been through major repairs. Next, Fat Guy's smile cracked. Brother June, that's the only E300 I have. Uncle looked at me. I nodded. He turned back to Fat Guy with the energy of a school principal who just caught you cheating. Show us the real stuff. No games. Original paint. No major repairs. Not even a replaced fender panel. Fat Guy's eyes lingered on me for 2 seconds. Recalculating, recalibrating, adjusting his entire sales strategy. Follow me. He took us behind the main lot to a locked tin shed. Out came a jangling keychain, and the door swung open. 3 cars inside. A white Porsche Cayenne, a dark green Range Rover, and in the very back, against the wall, a long black sedan that made the other 2 look like toys. I didn't recognize the badge, but I didn't need to. That car was long. The wheels alone were bigger than my future. Everything about it screamed, I cost more than your house, your neighbor's house, and probably your entire street. What's that one? I pointed. Fat Guy's expression got weird. Like I just pointed at the sun and asked to buy it. Maybach S680. Uncle's cigarette hand froze midair. You have one of these. Fat Guy walked over and wiped the hood with a cloth, almost lovingly. Picked it up before New Year. Belonged to a coal boss from Zhengzhou. Bought it. Drove it 947 kilometers total. Then his business went sideways, and he needed cash fast. Original everything. Not a single scratch. The guy used it as a garage ornament. Uncle climbed into the back seat and touched the leather. His whole body language changed. This wasn't E300 leather. This was, I'm worth more than your annual salary per square inch, leather. Soft, buttery, sinks when you press it, and takes its sweet time bouncing back. The back seat was wide enough to lie down in. There was a mini fridge in the armrest. And the ceiling was covered in tiny lights. A starry sky roof. Like sitting inside a private planetarium. I'll take it, I said. How much? The words had barely left my mouth when Uncle grabbed my arm and yanked me aside, whispering with absolute panic in his eyes, my dear, sweet, beloved nephew, you could sell me and your father together and still not afford this car. 2,400,000, Fat Guy said, holding up 2 fingers like he was making a peace sign at my financial funeral. Uncle grabbed my arm and started physically dragging me toward the exit like I was a toddler reaching for a stove. Good? Good? If I sold you and your father as a package deal, we still couldn't cover the down payment. Let's go look at the E300. I can help you scrape together. I planted my feet like a tree. Didn't budge. Can I swipe a card? I asked Fat Guy. The entire shed went silent. Fat Guy's brain visibly blue-screened. Bro, I don't do deposits. Full payment only. Full payment. I pulled out my bank card and held it between 2 fingers like a magician doing a trick. Swipe it. Fat Guy looked at the card. Looked at me. Looked at the card again. Then he threw his cleaning rag onto the Maybach's hood and sprinted to the front office like his life depended on it. Uncle was clinging to my sleeve, eyes wild. Are you insane? Where did you get this money? Did you rob a bank? Uncle. Bitcoin. Bit what? Bitcoin. Virtual currency. Bought some years ago, forgot about it. It went to the moon. I sold everything. Total fabrication. Delivered with the calm confidence of a man who has 60 million yuan appearing in his account every midnight, like clockwork. Uncle didn't understand a single word, but he understood the vibe. His nephew was loaded. Fat Guy came running back with a card reader, forehead glistening with sweat. He jammed my card in, punched in the numbers, 2,400,000, and handed me the machine. I typed my password. Hit confirm. Beep. The receipt printer whirred to life. That little white strip of paper crawled out slowly, like it wanted to build suspense. Fat Guy ripped it off, saw, transaction successful, and his entire soul left his body for about 3 seconds. In this tiny, crumbling used car lot in Yunmeng County, a Maybach S680 had just been sold. Full cash. In under 5 minutes. On a random Tuesday. Fat Guy's entire vocabulary restructured itself in real time. I went from bro to SIR so fast it should have caused whiplash. Sir, please, come sit inside. Let me make you tea. He was tearing apart cabinets looking for fancy tea leaves, found half a can of some premium brand, washed the cups, brewed the tea, served it to me with both hands like I was visiting royalty. He handed Uncle a cup too. Brother June, you have a nephew like this, and you never mentioned it. Uncle was sitting there holding his paper cup, hands still trembling. He stared at me for a long time before finally squeezing out. You really got rich? Made a bit, I said, sipping tea. A bit? You just dropped 2.4 million on a CAR. He reached for his phone. I'm calling your dad. I stopped his hand. Not yet. Let's find the right moment. He thought about it, put the phone away, and muttered, Fine, but keep a low profile. Don't flash money around. He said this sitting in the passenger seat of a Maybach S680. Low profile. Fat guy was a legend at paperwork. Called in favors, pulled strings, and within 2 hours I had plates, registration, everything. He handed me the keys with both hands and a bow, like presenting a sacred artifact. I got in the driver's seat. Uncle tiptoed into the passenger side, so carefully you'd think the leather was made of baby skin. Which, given the price, it might have been. I turned the key. The engine was so quiet I actually checked if it had started. This wasn't a car. It was a cloud with wheels. We rolled out onto the road, and every bump from the county's terrible pavement just disappeared. The suspension ate potholes like snacks. Uncle was touching everything. The wood trim on the doors, the sound system, the seats. This car, he whispered with genuine religious emotion, is absolutely incredible. I've fixed cars my whole life and never SAT in anything like this. This leather, this sound system. Unbelievable. Then I dropped the next bomb. Uncle, I'm going to start a company here in the county. He snapped out of his automotive trance. Company? Doing what? Investment. I want to build some industries locally. He looked at me like I'd announced I was opening a ski resort in the desert. In this dump? Every young person has already escaped. All that's left is old folks and children. Take your money to the city, to the provincial capital, heck, even just put it in a bank and earn interest. Literally anything is better than pouring money into this place. I have a plan, I said, not explaining further. Do you know any office buildings for rent around here? Big ones, good location. He sighed the sigh of a man who knew his nephew was a stubborn donkey. Then he thought for a minute. New district, 2 blocks south of the Wanjifa shopping center. There's a building. Some real estate developer built it. Was supposed to be a commercial complex. Then his money dried up. He ran off to Macau, gambled away a few $100 million, and poof. Ghost building. The county government took it over, renovated it a bit, tried to turn it into some kind of startup incubation park. Nobody came. It's been sitting empty ever since. Let's go see it. 15 minutes later, the Maybach pulled up in front of a 6-story building with gray glass walls. Actually looked pretty modern. The front doors were locked, and A, for rent, sign was taped to the glass with a phone number written in marker. Out front was a huge plaza, completely overgrown with weeds. Nature was actively reclaiming this property. I stepped out and sized the place up. Location, right on the main road of the new district. Perfect. Each floor looked like about 2,000 square meters. 6 floors, 12,000 square meters total. Plus the walled-off empty lot next to it, another 1,000 or so square meters. I loved it immediately. Uncle walked up next to me, offered me a cigarette. I waved it off. Bad feng shui, he declared, lighting his own. The developer who built it lost everything gambling. The government couldn't make it work either. If you rent this place, the annual cost alone will. I was already dialing the number on the glass door. It rang for ages. Finally, a sleepy woman's voice. Hello? Who's this? Hi. I saw your rental listing. I wanted to ask about this building. How much, too? The instant she heard someone was interested, her voice went from half asleep to fully caffeinated. Yes. It's available. How many floors do you want? What's it for? I don't want to rent it, I said. Pause. I want to know. Is it for sale? The woman on the phone went quiet for a solid 5 seconds. I could practically hear her brain rebooting. Buy? You want to buy the building? The whole thing? I can't make that call. You need to talk to my boss. Leave your number. I gave her my number and hung up. Uncle stood there with an unlit cigarette dangling from his lips, staring at me like I'd just announced I was running for president. You want to buy this building? Yep. Do you even know how much it costs? Nope. That's why I asked. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Closed it. He looked like a fish that had just learned about taxes. We waited 20 minutes. I walked around the building taking photos. Structurally solid, steel and concrete frame. Glass curtain walls a bit dusty but intact. Through the ground floor windows I could see the lobby had gorgeous ceiling height. at least 5 meters. Perfect for a reception area. This building had good bones. It just needed someone who wasn't going to gamble away its future in Macau. My phone rang. Local number. Hello, I'm Zhao Weiqiang, the property agent for this building. You wanted to see it? I'm standing right downstairs. Be there in 10 minutes. His 10 minutes was 25. A black Passat rolled into the plaza, and out stepped a guy in his early 40s. Dark polo shirt tucked into dress pants, jangling a set of keys on his belt like a medieval jailer. He spotted the Maybach immediately. I watched his walking speed increase by approximately 40%. You called? His eyes were doing ping pong between my face and the car. Face, car, face, car. Lu Ming. I extended my hand. Zhao Weiqiang. Call me old Zhao. He shook my hand, then noticed Uncle. Brother Jun, you're here too? You guys know each other? I asked. Uncle shrugged. Small county. Everyone knows everyone. Old Zhao unlocked the building, and we went in. The ground floor lobby was even bigger than I'd expected. Gray tile floors, a circular reception desk in the center covered in a thin blanket of dust, like it was sleeping and waiting for someone to wake it up. 2 elevators, 1 staircase. He took us floor by floor. Floors 2 through 5 were similar, divided into rooms of various sizes with glass partitions or drywall. Each floor had 2 conference rooms, though the projectors had been stripped out, leaving nothing but sad little screw holes in the walls. Like the building's teeth had been pulled. 6th floor was different. Completely open. No partitions. Over 1,000 square meters of unbroken space. Windows on 3 sides. Light flooding in from every direction. This was supposed to be a banquet hall, old Zhao said, leaning against the window. The original owner had big dreams. Yunming County's #1 commercial complex. Dining upstairs, shopping downstairs. Built it halfway, then poof. Vanished. I looked down from the 6th floor. The plaza below was a weed museum. Nature had been running the place for 2 years and was doing a terrible job as property manager. Who owns the building now? County Finance Bureau. He didn't hesitate. After the developer ran off with a mountain of debt, the bank seized it. Put it up for auction twice. No buyers. County government took it over as a last resort, spent $4 million on basic renovations, tried to make it a startup incubation center. He gestured at the vast emptiness around us. 0 tenants. Not one. How much? Old Zhao pulled out a pack of cigarettes. Offered 1 to Uncle, then 1 to me. 3 grown men standing in an empty 6th floor hall, smoking like we were negotiating the fate of nations. I'll be straight with you. Brother Jun is here. We're all friends. He exhaled a cloud. The county has had a headache over this building for years. Maintenance, water, electricity, property management. Over $100,000 a year, all coming out of the public budget. Leave it. Lose money. Tear it down. Lose more money. He looked at me. You're the first person to call about this building all year. Give me a real price, I said, flicking ash. He held up 2 fingers. Then 3. 30 million. No, no, no. He shook his head. 23 million. 23 million. 6 floors, 12,000 square meters of office space, plus the plaza. That's less than 2,000 yuan per square meter. In Shanghai, 2,000 yuan per square meter buys you the right to look at a building from across the street. But the interior was barely above raw concrete. Wiring done, fire safety done, but the walls were plain white and the floor tiles were the cheapest kind available. To actually work here, I'd need a full renovation. At 1,000 yuan per square meter, that's another 12 million. Does the price include the plaza? Everything. Land and building. 50-year property rights. Now here's the thing. I have 60 million yuan hitting my account every single day. I could have said, yes, without blinking. But that would be stupid. Even with infinite money, you don't pay sticker price. It's the principle. It's strategy. If I throw money around like confetti, people will treat me like an idiot forever. Every future deal in this county would start with them thinking, that rich fool will pay anything. Can you go lower? Old Zhao laughed. Brother, this is already rock bottom. Go check prices in the city for the same space. I'm not comparing to the city. I'm comparing to Yunming County. I kept my voice even. This building has been empty for over 2 years. 0 tenants. Bleeding money every year. If I don't buy it, you keep losing. I'm doing you a favor. The laughter faded. He looked at me again, reassessing. Young kid, nothing flashy about the clothes, but arrived in a Maybach, paid cash for it, and was now negotiating a building purchase with the calm energy of someone ordering lunch. What's your offer? 20 million flat. He crushed out his cigarette. I need to check with the boss. Go ahead. But make it fast. He left, practically jogging. Uncle turned to me with worry lines deep enough to plant crops in. Kid, how much money did you actually make? You gotta tell me. This isn't how you spend money. Uncle, I've got it under control. Here's what Uncle didn't understand. The 3 million I was haggling over wasn't about saving money. I get 60 million every day. 3 million is pocket change. It was about sending a message. I'm serious. I'm smart, and I don't overpay. The county government would remember this, and every negotiation after this one would be smoother because of it. We were mid-conversation when old Zhao came back, practically skipping, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Gentlemen, good news. The boss said yes. Old Zhao came jogging back like he'd just won a relay race, forehead shining like a glazed donut. He leaned in close, barely containing himself. Mr. Liu, the boss approved it. 20 million, the whole building plus the plaza. It's yours. Uncle heard this, and his face did that thing where it wanted to express 7 emotions at once, but couldn't commit to any of them. On the drive back to his repair shop, he only asked one question. You're really buying that cursed building? Yep. He got out, slammed the door, and walked back into his yard with his hands behind his back, sighing like a man attending his nephew's financial funeral. At 2:30 p.m., I went home, changed into a dark collared shirt, because when you're about to meet government officials to buy a building, you should at least look like you own a collar, and drove to the county government compound. Now, the security gate at Yunming County Government is usually a whole production. The guard checks your ID, asks questions, basically interrogates you like you're crossing an international border. But today, a long black Maybach glided up to the barrier. The old guard took one look at that hood ornament through his window, and, without a single word, pressed the button. Gate went up. No questions. No ID check. Just vibes. Apparently the password to any government building in China is a German luxury vehicle. I parked in a lined spot below the office building. Before I could even close my door, old Zhao materialized out of the lobby entrance like he'd been launched from a cannon, grinning so hard I worried about his face muscles. Mr. Liu, right on time. The leaders are all waiting upstairs. Upstairs. Small conference room. Oval table. 3 people. Center seat. Director Wang, head of the Finance Bureau. 50s, hair combed so perfectly it looked painted on. White dress shirt. Radiating, I've been in government for 30 years, energy. Left seat. Deputy Director Liu, younger, half-frame glasses, slightly chubby, in charge of state assets. His face said, I have conditions, and I'm going to enjoy presenting them. Right seat. Some young guy with a laptop. Legal or admin. His entire purpose was to exist and type things. Director Wang stood up and extended his hand first. Mr. Liu, so young and already so accomplished. Director Wang, too kind. Deputy Director Liu chimed in with some pleasantries. Everyone sat down. The laptop kid, with truly impressive situational awareness, appeared with a freshly brewed glass of premium Maojian tea. The tea leaves were standing straight up in the glass like tiny green soldiers at attention. Now, the old me, the 8,000 yuan a month social media guy, would have been sweating through his shirt in this room. Government officials, oval tables, formal tea service? My daily life used to be arguing with clients about font sizes on WeChat posts. But the current me had 120 million yuan in his bank account, with 60 million more arriving at midnight like a financial Santa Claus. Money is courage. This is not a metaphor. This is a medical fact. I leaned back in my chair, picked up the tea, blew on the floating leaves, took a sip. Good tea, I said. Director Wang smiled. Of course. First pick Maojian, before the spring rains. Mr. Liu, it's rare to see someone who's made their fortune in the big city and still thinks about investing back home. That kind of sentiment is precious. Roots run deep, I said, matching his poetic energy. Made some money out there, but this soil feels solid. We went back and forth like this for a while, the classic Chinese business dance. He was fishing for information about where my money came from. I tossed out phrases like internet investment and early cryptocurrency gains, words that county-level officials had heard enough times on the news to nod at, but not enough times to actually understand. Perfect smokescreen. After a few rounds of verbal ping-pong, Director Wang apparently decided I was legit and leaned forward, hands clasped on the table. Mr. Liu, let's speak plainly. Old Zhao has told you the building situation. 20 million is frankly a loss for the county. We spent nearly 10 million just taking it over and doing basic renovations. I listened. Said nothing. Power move. Director Wang glanced at Deputy Director Liu. Liu took the cue, cleared his throat, and slid a printed document to the center of the table. Mr. Liu, the price has been approved. But as a transfer of state assets, the county has certain considerations. We want to ensure any incoming enterprise genuinely contributes to Yunming's development. He pushed his glasses up, the universal signal for, here come the conditions, and his tone shifted to full bureaucrat mode. There are 3 additional conditions. I raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. First, within 1 year of operating, your company must create at least 100 local jobs. With social insurance. Internally, I nearly laughed. 100 jobs? At average county wages of 3,000 yuan each, that's 300,000 a month. Less than 4 million a year. I make that much while sleeping. For about 4 minutes. Free points. Second, your registered company's tax revenue must stay 100% local. No offshore tricks, no shell companies routing money elsewhere. I took another sip of tea. My money literally cannot leave this county. The system won't allow it. Even if I wanted to do tax evasion in another city, my magic bank account would just laugh at me and decline the transfer. More free points. Third, and this is the most important one, Deputy Director Liu locked eyes with me, voice weighted. After operations begin, your company must allocate 30% of annual net profits as a special fund for county infrastructure and economic development. The room went silent. Director Wang drank from his thermos, pretending to be casual while watching me from the corner of his eye. Deputy Director Liu leaned back, waiting for me to push back. The laptop kid already had his fingers hovering over the keyboard, ready to transcribe my objections. These 3 conditions were, let's be honest, highway robbery wearing a government badge. Especially that third one, 30% of net profits. Just hand it over? No investor in their right mind would agree to that. Search the whole country and you won't find a business-friendly deal that scoops out 1/3 of your earnings. But I understood why. They were covering themselves. Selling a building at 20 million that cost them more? If they didn't attach conditions, the auditors would eat them alive at year-end. Who sold state assets at a discount with nothing in return? Headlines would be written. Careers would end. So the conditions were political armor, not genuine greed. I sat there, tapping my fingers on the table, running numbers in my head. 100 jobs? Wanted anyway. Taxes stay local. Couldn't leave if they tried. 30% of profits for county development? Deputy Director Liu, I said, stopping my finger tapping, looking up. He straightened, ready for battle. Mr. Liu, if you have concerns, please share them, I smiled. I leaned forward, laced my fingers together on the table, and looked both directors right in the eyes. Gentlemen, the first 2 conditions are perfectly reasonable. Pause. But regarding the third condition, I am personally very unsatisfied. Deputy Director Liu frowned and started tapping his pen like a disapproving schoolteacher. Mr. Liu, this third condition is the county's red line for local infrastructure support. We're letting you have that building for 20 million. You know how big a concession that is. 30% of profits back to the community. Is that really so unreasonable? I set my tea down. Didn't drink. Just set it down. Slowly. Dramatically. Deputy Director Liu, the math doesn't work like that. I leaned back. I'm a businessman. Businessmen like profit. You want me to hire 100 people? I'll hire 1,000. You want taxes to stay local? I won't move a single cent outside the county. But slicing off 30% of my net profits? That breaks basic business logic. I could feel both of them watching me like hawks watching a rabbit that just started doing calculus. First, a company needs profits to reinvest and grow. Take 30% and you're strangling my cash flow. Second, I'm not coming back to Yunming to open a corner shop. What I'm planning to invest is far more than 20 million. Director Wang's thermos froze in midair. This 20 million is just for the office building. Schools, hospitals, factories, roads, all of that comes next. And it'll need constant, massive investment. Those infrastructure projects won't turn a profit for years. Instead of taking 30% of my earnings, let me invest directly into the county's development myself. Now, Director Wang was an old fox. Decades in government. He'd seen every type of businessman. The big talkers, the scammers, the guys who promise a skyscraper and deliver a shed. But this kid drove a 2 million yuan Maybach, paid cash, and was sitting in his conference room talking about building schools and hospitals without a trace of bluster. More importantly, that building was a nightmare. Every year it ate over 100,000 yuan in maintenance. Every year the auditors came by, wrote, wasted idle asset in their reports, and made his life miserable. If someone, anyone, took this cursed building off his hands and created some jobs, his annual report would practically write itself. Push too hard on the 30%, and this golden goose might walk out the door forever. Mr. Liu, that's quite the vision. Director Wang's voice went smooth. He turned to his deputy. Old Liu, drop the third condition. We'll go with the first two. Young Mr. Liu is coming home to build up his hometown. We should be rolling out the red carpet, not putting up roadblocks. Deputy Liu pushed up his glasses, nodded. Understood. We'll proceed as Director Wang says. The laptop kid started furiously editing the contract. Mr. Liu, regarding payment timing, Director Wang asked casually. Sign the contract, money arrives immediately. Government moves slowly, except when money is involved. Then it moves at the speed of light. By 4 p.m., a freshly printed transfer agreement was sitting in front of me. I scanned it. Condition 1, 100 jobs. Still there. Condition 2, taxes stay local. Still there. Condition 3, gone. Deleted. Vaporized. I signed my name. Pressed my thumbprint. Then I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, typed 20 million in the transfer field, and hit confirm. Ding. That little notification sound echoed through the silent conference room like a church bell. 2 minutes later, Deputy Liu got a call from the finance department. He hung up, and I swear his left eye twitched. He looked at Director Wang and nodded. Director Wang. 20 million. Full amount. Received. Director Wang's face broke into the kind of smile that only appears when a government official realizes his biggest annual headache just vanished. He practically leaped out of his chair, grabbed my hand with both of his, and shook it like he was trying to start a lawnmower. Mr. Liu, outstanding. Yunming County needs young entrepreneurs like you. Any problems, any difficulties, you come directly to me. Old Zhao was standing off to the side, swallowing hard. 20 million. Transferred in seconds. Without a stutter. Who I asked this kid? After that, every remaining piece of paperwork got the VIP treatment. The Housing Bureau had a dedicated window waiting for me. By 5:30 p.m., just before closing time, a deep red property certificate was placed in my hands. I opened it. Under, rights holder, printed in crisp black ink, Liu Ming. 12,450 square meters of building, plus 1,000 square meters of plaza. Mine. Oh mine. I walked out of the government compound. The sun had already set. The sky was on fire, red and orange streaking across the horizon like the universe was showing off. I tossed the red certificate onto the passenger seat of the Maybach and started the engine. Building, acquired. Land, acquired. Next problem. I was a one-man army trying to spend 60 million yuan a day. I needed a team. Specifically, I needed someone I could trust, someone who could handle money, someone with a brain. Cousin Liu Yuan. She's Uncle Jianjun's daughter, 1 year younger than me. Grew up following me around everywhere. Sharp tongue, sharper mind. Graduated from a mid-tier finance college in the province with an accounting degree. Worked at a bookkeeping firm in Zhengzhou for a year. Hated the low pay and overtime. Quit after Chinese New Year and had been lying around at home ever since, occasionally helping Uncle balance his repair shop books. I drove to the repair shop. The rolling shutter was half down. I ducked under it. Liu Yuan was sitting on that same wrecked sofa, hunched over a big ceramic bowl, slurping noodles like she was in a speed-eating contest. Oversized old t-shirt. Hair tied in a messy bun. Zero makeup. Plastic flip-flops. She looked like she'd given up on society and society had accepted her resignation. Eating? I pulled up a chair. She looked up with half a noodle still hanging from her mouth, sucked it in, and mumbled, "Bro, what are you doing here? Dad said you went car shopping. Did you get one? Got one. What did you get? Santana? Jetta?" She set down the bowl and wiped her mouth with a napkin. Dad's taste in cars tops out at second-hand junkers. Maybach. Her wiping hand froze. The napkin stayed pressed against her lip like a pause button. She crumpled the napkin, tossed it in the trash, and rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might get stuck. Why not say you bought a Boeing 747? Bragging is free, I guess. I didn't argue. Instead I asked, "And you? Hanging out at the repair shop every day?" Planning to inherit the family oil change business. Oil changes are honest work, she pouted. That garbage bookkeeping company in Zhengzhou, 3,500 a month. Overtime until 8 every night. boss spouting motivational quotes instead of paying us. I'm resting. I'll take the civil service exam after summer. Skip the exam. I pulled out the red property certificate I'd brought in from the car and slapped it on the table. Work for me. She squinted at the red booklet suspiciously. What's that? Open it. She leaned over and flipped it open. Rights holder, Lu Ming. Location, Yunming County, Ingbin Road, New City Commercial Building. Area, 12,450.5 square meters. She stared at those numbers for a full 30 seconds. Then she reached over and put her hand on my forehead. No fever. Bro, where'd you get this fake certificate? It's pretty realistic. Isn't this that abandoned building the county gave up on, transferred this afternoon? 20 million. Full payment. I put the certificate away. I'm starting a company. I need a CFO. You in? She looked at me the way you look at someone who just told you they can communicate with dolphins. Lu Ming, what happened to you? Did you get dumped in Shanghai? Are loan sharks chasing you? 20 million? You could sell both your kidneys and not even scrape together 2 million. Made some money trading crypto. What crypto makes 100 million? She shot up from the sofa like a rocket. Don't lie to me. Are you doing something illegal? International fraud? Money laundering? Everything's legal. Money is clean. Taxes paid. I pocketed my phone. Now I want to invest in the county. You studied accounting. Help me manage the books. For real? She was stuttering. A financial professional stuttering about finances. Poetic. I looked at her. In or out? Is there a salary? She blurted instantly. Pure accountant DNA. Couldn't help herself. 50,000 a month. Full social insurance package. Year-end bonus. Lu Yuan slammed her bowl down so hard the soup splashed. Say that again. How much? 50,000. Per month? Per month. She stared at me for 10 solid seconds, then reached over and felt my forehead again. No fever. You already checked that. She wiped her hand on her t-shirt and sank back into the sofa. Bro, do you know how much I made at that bookkeeping sweatshop in Zhengzhou? 3,500. You mentioned it. 3,500. She repeated it like a prayer for the dead. Wake up at 7, work till 6, 1 day off a week, and when month-end or quarter-end or year-end hits, kiss your weekends goodbye. 3,500 gross, 3,100 after deductions. And now you're telling me 50,000. Too low? Too high? She smacked the sofa armrest. You pay me 50,000 and I'll be the highest paid accountant in the entire county. Every financial professional in Yunming combined doesn't earn what you're offering me. My old boss, the CFO, made 12,000. I ignored her meltdown, flipped a chair around backwards, sat down, and draped my arms over the backrest. Listen, 1, you're my cousin. I know you. I trust you. 2, you literally studied this. You've done the work. You can hit the ground running. How big is this thing you're planning? Big. She went quiet. Here's the thing about Lu Yuan. She's not dumb. She's known me my whole life. I'm the quiet type. I don't brag. I don't exaggerate. I'm the exact opposite of her dad, who could tell you he caught a fish the size of a car and not blink. If literally anyone else was sitting here telling her this stuff, she'd have thrown them out with the noodle bowl. But she knew that when I say something, I mean it. That certificate is real. Picked it up from the housing bureau this afternoon. You can verify it. She pressed her lips together, rubbing her fingers against her knee, thinking, what if I'm not good enough? Then I replace you. But I'll keep paying you until you find something else. Fine. She stood up, carried her bowl to the sink, turned on the faucet, and with her back to me, said in a quiet voice, when do I start? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Company registration, bank account, tax filing. You know this stuff better than I do. Go handle it. You already have a company name, Yunming Investment Company, Limited. She turned off the faucet and shook the water off her hands, side-eyeing me. Registered capital, start with 100 million. 100 mil. Her voice cracked so hard it nearly became a different octave entirely. 100 million in registered capital? Are you insane? Do you understand what that means? The moment that company is registered, you're personally liable for 100 million yuan in obligations. I know. Subscribed or paid in for part of it. The building was 20 million. Count that as a fixed asset. She didn't speak. She's an accountant. She knows exactly what paid-in capital of 100 million means. This isn't filling in a number on a form. Real money has to hit a verification account. Real, actual, touchable money. How much money do you actually have? Enough? She opened her mouth, closed it, swallowed whatever she was going to say next. Then she pulled out a stool, sat down across from me, dug a notebook and pen from a drawer, and went full professional mode. Business scope? Business consulting, real estate development, commercial operations management, construction engineering, food service, cultural entertainment. Throw in everything you can. Save us from filing amendments later, she wrote furiously, filling half a page. Looked up. Registered address? Ingbin Road, New City Commercial Building. The cursed building? My building. My address. She circled something on the page, closed the notebook. Tomorrow 8:30, as soon as the business registration office opens. I need your ID copy tonight. Company seals, official seal, financial seal, legal representative seal. I'll arrange a carver ahead of time. Bank account requires an appointment, usually a 2 to 3 day wait. Can you speed it up? I'll try. She started gathering her things, then suddenly stopped. Your car. You really bought a Maybach? Parked outside, she shuffled out in her plastic flip-flops. I followed. There it was, under the streetlight. Outside, Jianjun Auto Repair, with its hand-painted tin sign. A black Maybach S680, gleaming quietly like a panther that accidentally wandered into a petting zoo. She circled it slowly. She doesn't know cars, but she recognized the three-pointed star, and she definitely recognized the word Maybach on the trunk. How much was this? 2.4 million. She stood behind the car staring at the exhaust pipe for a very long time. No words. Just standing there, recalculating her entire understanding of reality. When she finally turned around, her face was different. The joking was gone. There are things I can't explain right now, I said, but the money is clean. No problems with its source. If you don't trust me, you don't have to do this. We're still family. We'll still eat together at New Year's. She looked into my eyes for a long while. I trust you. Good. I'll do the work. What are you doing? Recruiting. Building a team. A company this size can't run on just 2 people. HR manager, admin manager, secretary, driver. Fine. She took a breath, then patted the Maybach's door. Okay then. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Come pick me up. In this car. Why? I'm going to the registration office to start a company. A Maybach parked out front means the clerk will process my paperwork twice as fast. Don't laugh. In a county town, this car is more effective than any letter of recommendation. I didn't laugh. Because she was absolutely right. On the drive home, I rolled down the windows. Night air rushed in, carrying the smell of fields and earth. The streetlights were spaced far apart. Some stretches of road were pitch black, just my headlights cutting a path through the darkness. When I walked in the door, Dad was in the living room watching TV. Channel 6 was playing, Let the Bullets Fly, the movie about a bandit who takes over a small town and shakes everything up. Dad looked at me. Your uncle called. So much for Uncle's promise to keep quiet. That lasted approximately 4 hours. What did he say? Said you bought a car worth over 2 million. Dad put the remote down on the coffee table. You really made money. Made some. How much is some? Enough. He stared at me for a long time. You've always been careful. Not the type to do anything stupid. But something this big, you should at least tell me. I only need to know one thing. Is the money clean? Clean, Dad. I never do anything illegal. He picked up the remote, turned the volume up 2 notches, and went back to watching. On screen, Jiangwen rode a white horse into Goose Town. County towns aren't easy, Dad said suddenly, eyes still on the TV. This place. The water runs deep. I sat down on the other end of the couch. I know. Good. We sat there together in the living room. Neither of us said another word. Just watching Jiangwen try to shake up a small, stubborn town that didn't want to change. Kind of felt like foreshadowing, honestly. Next morning, 7:50 a.m., I pulled the Maybach up to Uncle's repair shop. Lu Yuan was already waiting on the sidewalk, and I almost didn't recognize her. Gone was the noodle-slurping gremlin in flip-flops. In her place stood a professional woman, white blouse tucked into black trousers, hair tied neatly, light makeup. She looked like a completely different human being. Same DNA, different firmware. She got in, buckled her seatbelt, and immediately started pulling documents out of her bag like a magician pulling scarves from a hat. ID copies, property certificate copies, company charter. I wrote it last night. Business scope printed in duplicate. She flipped through everything with terrifying efficiency. Also booked the seal carver. Across from the registration office. Old Zhang seals. Every official stamp in this county comes from his shop. What time did you sleep? 3 a.m. She leaned back and closed her eyes. 50,000 a month, bro. I'm going to earn that salary. Fair enough. At 8:25, the Maybach parked in front of the county business registration office. A few people were already waiting outside, Small business owners clutching plastic bags full of documents, chatting on the steps. Then this black German yacht on wheels glided up and parked. Every head turned. Lu Yuan marched in the second the doors opened at 8:30, first in line, documents already arranged like a military operation. The clerk, a woman in her 30s sipping goji berry water from a thermos, took the papers and flipped through them. She got to the registered capital page and her hand stopped. Registered capital, 100 million, correct. Subscribed or paid in, first installment paid in at 20 million, contributed as fixed assets. Property certificate is on the last page. The clerk stood up and carried the documents to the back office like she was handling a diplomatic letter. 5 minutes later, she returned with a guy wearing glasses, the section chief. He had questions about the business scope. Too many categories, some need pre-approval, blah blah blah. Lu Yuan cut him off mid-sentence. Register all categories now. We'll obtain individual permits before launching each business line. This is perfectly legal. The chief pushed up his glasses, reviewed the materials again, nodded. Fine. Materials are complete. Rush processing, 3 business days. How about today? He hesitated. Today doesn't follow standard procedure. Lu Yuan didn't argue. She just unlocked her phone and pushed it across the counter. On screen, a photo of me shaking hands with Director Wang from the Finance Bureau. Conference room in the background. Clear as day. Our company is a priority enterprise recruited by the county. Director Wang personally finalized the project yesterday. He specifically asked us to expedite all procedures so investment isn't delayed by paperwork. So, the chief glanced at the photo. His attitude underwent an instant renovation. Come pick it up this afternoon. While Lu Yuan went off to get seals carved with the intensity of a woman on a sacred mission, I tackled my own job, recruiting. I posted on WeChat Moments, a hiring announcement for Yunming Investment Company, Ltd. Administrative Manager, HR Manager, Executive Secretary, 2 drivers. Location, Yunming County. Pay, above market rate. I attached a photo of the building looking all glossy and corporate in the sunlight. Then I opened TikTok, created an account called Yunming Investment, filmed a 15-second video slowly panning up the building from bottom to top, and added text, Yunming Investment Company, Ltd. Now hiring. Starting salary 5,000/month, no ceiling. Local residents preferred. I spent 100 yuan on local promotion and leaned back to wait. My WeChat post was underwhelming. My friends list was 90% Shanghai coworkers and college classmates. In 20 minutes, 3 likes, 2 from former colleagues, 1 from my mom, 0 messages. I was about to give up when a notification popped up. The profile picture was a side-angle face shot. Background was some fancy shopping district in Chengdu. Lu Ming? Is that you? No save name. I opened her moments. Most recent post, 3 days ago. Coffee cup photo, location tagged at Zhengzhou Airport. Caption, back. I scrolled further. A girl with long hair and a collarbone necklace posing on a Chengdu street. Then a graduation photo, bachelor's gown, holding flowers, big smile, Sichuan University gate behind her. I knew who this was. Shunli, high school classmate. Sat 2 rows in front of me. Undisputed prettiest girl in our class. And this was a title nobody even bothered to challenge. She went to Sichuan University in Chengdu for college. I couldn't remember her major. We hadn't really talked since graduation. She was just someone whose posts occasionally floated across my feed. I replied, "It's me." Her response came fast. "You're back in Yunming? I saw your job posting. You're starting a company here, just registered. Wow, impressive. What kind of company? Investment." 1 minute of silence. Then, "Are you free? Can we meet up? I just got back too. I'm at home doing nothing. You're in Yunming? Got back 2 days ago." I stared at the message. Sichuan University graduate. Building a career in Chengdu. Suddenly back in tiny little Yunming County. Something was up, but curiosity won. "Sure. Where are you?" She sent a location pin. "Old part of town, Jinwang supermarket entrance." I started the engine and drove over. 7 or 8 minutes later, I pulled up to the curb. A girl was standing on the supermarket steps. White t-shirt, jeans, canvas shoes, canvas bag slung over one shoulder. Hair down, blowing across her face in the breeze. Simple, clean, and the kind of effortlessly pretty that makes you forget how to form sentences temporarily. I rolled down the window. "Get in." She looked up. Her eyes caught the Maybach's hood ornament, and I saw a flicker of surprise. quickly smoothed into a calm, slight smile. She walked over and got in the back. A few years had changed her. The high school softness was gone, replaced by something polished. Even in a plain white tee and jeans, she carried herself like she belonged in a different zip code than Yunmeng County. In the sunlight, her face was so clean and natural it was almost annoying. Long time no see, same voice as high school. Clear, with a little lift at the end. I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Where do you want to talk? Anywhere. You pick? Have you eaten? No. I thought for a second, then turned the wheel. Let's go get some stew noodles. From the back seat, she laughed, picking me up in a Maybach to take me to a noodle shop. Lu Ming, your style is unique. Then she paused, looked at me through the rearview mirror, and her expression shifted from playful to serious. I saw your job posting. The HR manager position. I'd like to apply. The noodle shop didn't even have a sign. Just a hole in the wall with plastic tables out front, surfaces still wet from a half-hearted wipe down. The kind of place where the health inspector would cry. But the food? Absolutely lethal. In a good way. 2 lamb stew noodles, extra chili on one. I yelled at the owner, then turned to Shunli. You eat spicy? I lived in Sichuan for 4 years. What do you think? Fair point. The noodles came fast. She picked up her chopsticks, but went for the soup first, like a civilized person. When did you get back? I asked. 2 days ago. Was lying around at home scrolling my phone when I saw your post. She set her chopsticks on the bowl rim. Honestly, I read it 3 times. I thought your account got hacked. Why? Lu Ming. You sat behind me for 3 years in high school. You were so quiet you were basically furniture. I remember your overall ranking was somewhere around 200. You failed math once. I picked up my bowl and took a sip of soup. So what you're saying is, I've had character development. No, she waved her hands. I'm saying you've improved very rapidly, smooth save. Since she'd said she wanted the HR manager position, this noodle lunch was now officially half a job interview. I started asking questions. She studied human resources at Sichuan University. After graduating, she joined an internet company in Chengdu as an HR business partner. 300 employees, she handled recruiting, performance reviews, and employee relations for 2 business units. 2.5 years. Why'd you leave? Her chopsticks paused. Just for a second. Layoffs. They cut the business teams first, then middle management, then HR started cutting HR. I was in the second to last batch. Severance? Token amount. Around 40,000 after tax. She said it flatly. No drama. Just facts. I didn't dig deeper. Tech layoffs have been a national sport these past couple years. Nothing unusual. After that, didn't look for something else in Chengdu. She swallowed her noodles, wiped her mouth with a napkin. Looked for 3 months. Sent over 100 resumes. Interviewed at a dozen places. Either they lowballed me or the company was sketchy. She looked at me directly. Chengdu rent, 2,500. Food, 1,000. Transport plus random expenses. My severance was gone in 3 months. I did the math. 2 options. Borrow money to survive. Or take a job paying 2 or 3,000. Neither was acceptable, so you came home. Yes. I finished my noodles and pushed the bowl aside. You managed a 300-person company in Chengdu. Now you want to do HR for a freshly registered shell company with 0 employees. Doesn't that feel like a downgrade? She smiled. Not a big smile. A tired, honest one. Lu Ming, you know what the prerequisite for feeling overqualified is? Having options. If I still had options, I wouldn't be sitting here drinking lamb soup with you. That was brutally honest. I respected it. I leaned back. Let's talk salary. What do you think you're worth? In Chengdu, my base was 10,000 a month. With performance bonuses and year-end, it came to about 150, 60,000 total. She paused. If you offer me 8,000, I can work with that. But below 8, 10,000. Her hand trembled on her water glass. You'll handle HR and admin combined. No team under you at first. Recruiting, attendance, payroll, office supplies. All on you. She stared at me for 2 seconds. You don't negotiate? No time. If I spend 20 minutes haggling over 500 yuan with you, that's 20 minutes you could spend doing actual work. Take the 500 and earn it. She put down her glass. One more question. She hesitated. What is this company actually going to do? Investment company is just a shell. You can stuff anything in there. If it's just flipping real estate or running a loan shop, I'm not interested. I looked at her. Outside, a farm truck went puttering past. That classic diesel roar drowning out everything in the restaurant for a few seconds. When it passed, I spoke. You were in Chengdu for 4 years. What did it feel like coming back? She blinked, confused by the topic change. What did it feel like? She thought about it. Like waking up and discovering time had stopped. The same roads, the same shops, even the old guy selling candied fruit on the corner. Exactly like high school. Nothing changed. Exactly, I said. Nothing changed. Everyone who could leave, left. Everyone still here is just surviving. 60,000 person county, not even a real shopping mall. Young people flee, old people and kids stay behind. I paused. I want to change that. She said nothing. The details are still being planned, but the direction is set. Step 1, build industries, create real jobs. Step 2, build the support systems, schools, hospitals, infrastructure, so people actually want to stay. Step 3, attract people back. Maybe even attract outsiders to move in. She was quiet for a long time. How much money does something like that require? A lot. Do you have it? Yes. She looked into my eyes. The noodle shop's old fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting uneven light across my face. She'd seen plenty of bosses before. Her CEO in Chengdu talked like a visionary at press conferences and then tried to cheat employees out of social insurance. Big talkers were a dime a dozen. But I wasn't giving a speech. I wasn't performing. I said it the same way I said everything in high school. Flat voice, no expression, like I wasn't describing a dream but reading a bus schedule. And apparently, that was more convincing than any PowerPoint. Okay. She stood up and extended her hand. Mr. Liu, I look forward to working with you. I shook it. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. New District, Ingbin Road, the 6-story glass building. You can find it, I'll find it. One more thing. I was halfway to the door, then turned back. Put together a recruiting plan in the next few days. I need a team built as fast as possible. She nodded. After I left, she called her mom. Mom, I found a job. Her mom paused. Where? Here. In the county. The county? Good, good. Close to home. She hung up. For the past 2 days since she got back, her mom's most frequent suggestion had been 3 words. Blind date time. As if the only career path for a girl who comes home is finding a husband. She leaned against the noodle shop's rolling shutter and looked up at the sky. The sky over Yunming County really was bluer than Chengdu's. At least the town had that going for it. At 3 p.m., Lu Yuan called. Business license is done. That fast. Please. Look who handled it. I could hear her pride through the phone. Company seal, financial seal, legal representative seal, all carved. Bank account appointment is set for tomorrow morning. Nicely done. One more thing. Her tone shifted. Careful now. When I picked up the license, I ran into someone. A guy from the County Land Resources Bureau, surname Zhou. He heard about you buying the building. Don't ask me how. And practically begged me for your phone number. What did he want? He said. Lu Yuan lowered her voice. He said there's a 100-acre plot of industrial land out at Shilapu Village. It's been listed for 2 years. Nobody's touched it. He wants to know if you're interested. 100 acres of industrial land. Just sitting there, waiting for someone with way too much money and absolutely no idea what he's doing. That's so basically waiting for me. 100 acres of industrial land. I told the guy on the phone, let's talk tomorrow, and hung up because I needed time to process the fact that the universe was now just throwing real estate at me like spam emails. That night, I pulled up the satellite map on my laptop. Shilapu Village, 7 kilometers southeast of town. On the screen, it looked like a giant brown rectangle of nothing, sitting next to a provincial highway with a little irrigation canal running along the top and endless. Farmland stretching in every direction. The satellite resolution was so bad it looked like someone took the photo with a potato, but I could tell the ground was flat. I checked the county's Land Bureau website next. The website design was from approximately 2008 and loaded like it was running on a hamster wheel. Half the page was broken code. After several minutes of digital archaeology, I found the listing. Shilapu Village Industrial Plot, 100.2 acres, 50-year lease. Starting price, 240,000 per acre. Total, 24 million yuan. Listed for 2 years. 0 buyers. 24 million for 100 acres, and nobody even looked at it. That tells you everything about this county's economy. Not a single business here needs to expand. Everything is shrinking. I closed the laptop, lay in bed, stared at the ceiling. Midnight. System refreshed right on schedule. Today's deposit, 60,024,700 yuan. Received. Account balance, 216,148,800 yuan. For days in. Over 200 million yuan in my account. Total spent, barely a rounding error. My bank balance was growing faster than I could think of ways to use it. It was like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon, except the ocean was getting deeper every night. Next morning at 8, I drove to the building. Lu Yuan was already there, crouching behind the reception desk on the ground floor, wiring electrical cables with a roll of electrical tape. You know how to do electrical work? I walked over, genuinely surprised. Learned it on TikTok 20 minutes ago. She didn't even look up. Called the property management company. They said they'd send someone. I'll be retired before they show up. This woman was going to earn every cent of that 50,000. Bank account appointment, 10:30. Agricultural bank. She stood up, dusted off her pants, and pulled a brown envelope from her bag. The business license. There was in my hands. Yunming Investment Company, Limited Legal Representative, Lu Ming. Registered capital, 100 million yuan. It was real. I had a company. I was technically a CEO. My mom was going to either faint or kill me. At 8:40, a silver-gray Volkswagen pulled into the plaza. Out stepped a man in his early 40s, short-sleeved blue shirt, Casio digital watch, short haircut, tan skin, walking with a forward lean like someone who's permanently in a hurry. This was Zhou Yin from the Land Resources Bureau. He spotted the Maybach key on the reception desk immediately. His eyes locked onto it like a heat-seeking missile. Mr. Liu, he power-walked over and shook my hand. Zhou Yin, Land and Minerals Division. Spoke with your sister yesterday. No small talk. I like that. He sat down and immediately pulled up photos on his phone. Flat yellow earth. Concrete boundary markers. A highway in the background. Why has nobody bought it in 2 years? I asked, scrolling through the pictures. He rubbed his fingers together. The universal gesture for, this is complicated. Few reasons. First, it's far from town. No real infrastructure nearby. Second, no industrial cluster around it. If you build a factory alone out there, your entire supply chain has to come from outside. Expensive. Third, he paused and looked at me. Go on. 3 years ago, the county recruited a pipe manufacturing company from Hebei. They promised to build a factory. The county cleared the land, started building a road, rolled out the welcome mat. Then the company's funding collapsed. Project died. Land's been sitting there ever since like a stood-up bride at the altar. Let's go see it, I said. Right now? Right now? Zhou Yin practically levitated out of his chair. He was halfway to the door before he caught himself. Should we take my car or mine? 3 of us got in the Maybach. Lu Yuan in the passenger seat, Zhou Yin in the back. When Zhou Yin settled into the rear seat, his entire body froze. I caught him in the mirror secretly touching the leather, then glancing up at the starry sky ceiling. His Adam's apple bobbed. He said nothing. A man processing luxury in real time. We drove southeast along the highway. The moment we left town, the scenery switched instantly. Shops and buildings vanished, replaced by wheat fields and rows of poplar trees. We turned onto a narrower cement road that was more pothole than road. The Maybach's air suspension was working overtime, absorbing bumps like a silent hero, but some of those craters were so deep, even German engineering had limits. 8 minutes later, we stopped at the edge of a massive open space. I got out. Wind hit me immediately. This plot was even bigger in person than in the photos. 100 acres, 67,000 square meters, roughly 10 football fields. Just flat, hard, yellow earth stretching in every direction, with faded red ribbons fluttering on concrete boundary posts at each corner. North side, irrigation canal, shallow enough to see the bottom, with reeds and weeds lining the banks. South side, the provincial highway, decent condition, trucks rumbling past carrying sand and cement. East side, a row of low village houses, gray brick and red tile, with absolutely no burning crop stubble, painted on every wall in giant characters. Important civic messaging. I walked the entire perimeter. Lu Yuan followed with her notebook open, sketching a rough map. Zhou Yin trailed behind like an eager puppy, pointing things out every time I slowed down. Power lines come from here, natural gas pipe is buried under the highway, water hookup is over by the canal. Utilities are all set. Water, electricity, road access, done. Gas connection is about 300 meters from the highway. Cheap to hook up, he was thorough. I'll give him that. I squatted down and grabbed a fistful of dirt, rolled it between my fingers. Medium grain, yellowish-brown, not too loose, not too sticky. Former farmland. Used to be crop fields? Yes. Villagers were compensated during the land acquisition. All paperwork is clean. He pulled a stack of photocopies from his briefcase. Land transfer contracts, environmental assessments, planning permits. I flipped through them. Skipped the legal jargon. Just checked the key numbers. Floor area ratio, 1.5. Maximum building density, 50%. Minimum green coverage, 15%. Listed at 24 million, not a single yuan increase in 2 years. Zhou Yin shook his head. Honestly, leadership's position is, if anyone shows interest, the price is negotiable. I handed back the documents, stood up, dusted the dirt off my hands, and walked to the exact center of the plot. I turned in a slow circle. 360 degrees of wind, wheat fields, distant highway, and the faint outline of Yunming County's skyline on the horizon. And standing there, something clicked. I thought about that pathetic Wanjifu shopping center with half its third floor empty. I thought about a county where entertainment means mahjong, TikTok, and drinking. I thought about 60,000 people with nowhere to spend money, even if they had it. This land looked remote, but it sat right on the main road in and out of town. Traffic was already flowing past. Cars meant people. People meant customers. Customers meant money. And money meant jobs. Not a factory. Something better. Section Chief Zhou, I turned to face him. If I buy this land, but instead of building a factory, I build a large-scale shopping and entertainment complex, how long would the approval process take at your bureau? Zhou Yan's mouth opened. Then closed. Then opened again. Somewhere in the distance, a truck full of sand rumbled past on the highway, completely unaware that it had just driven past the future center of Yunming County. A shopping complex? Zhou Yan's eye twitched. Literally twitched. He stared at me for a few seconds, confirming I wasn't joking. He rubbed his nose. Mr. Liu, that's a big leap. This land is zoned industrial. Can it be changed? It can. He sighed the sigh of a man who's about to explain why something technically possible is practically impossible. But the process is a nightmare. Converting industrial to commercial land. We call it industrial to commercial conversion. Step 1. Submit a report to the county government requesting adjustments to the overall land use plan and the urban-rural plan. The county can't approve that alone. It goes up to the city, possibly even the provincial bureau. I stayed quiet. Let him talk. Step 2. After the plans are approved, the government takes the land back and relists it through public auction. You can't just buy it as is. You'd have to go bid on it again at the trading center. Step 3. The killer. You pay the price difference between industrial and commercial land rates. Completely different universe of pricing. The whole process involves so much paperwork and stamp collecting you'd wear out your legs. Liu Yuan was scribbling notes furiously. Fastest timeline? Zhou Yin laughed bitterly. Fastest? Every single department in the county gives you a green light. City leadership fully supports you? 8 months minimum. One hiccup and you're looking at a year and a half. And in Yunming County, there hasn't been a single industrial to commercial conversion in 10 years. 8 months. I did the math in my head. 60 million a day times 240 days equals 14.4 billion yuan piling up in my account, with absolutely nowhere to go. 14 billion turning into meaningless digits on a screen while my county stagnated and the population goal stayed a fantasy. I couldn't wait 8 months. I couldn't wait 8 weeks. I turned and walked back to the Maybach. Get in. We're going back. Zhou Yin stood there holding his papers, confused. Mr. Liu, you're passing? A factory would work too. Food processing, garment manufacturing. The county has subsidies. Factories are too slow. I sat in the driver's seat and lowered the window. Section Chief Zhou, thanks for your time today. I'll buy you dinner sometime. The car spun around, kicked up a cloud of dust, and shot back onto the highway. In the mirror, Zhou Yin stood alone in 100 acres of emptiness, shaking his head, stuffing documents back into his bag. Sorry, buddy. Different plan. In the car, silence. Bro, what are you actually doing? Liu Yuan closed her notebook. 20 million on an office building. Now you want a shopping mall? What's the biggest shopping center in the county right now? Wanjifu, she made a face. In the new district. But that place is basically on life support. Tell me more. Opened 5 years ago. Yuming's #1 shopping destination. The owner is Wang Dafa, local construction guy turned retail mogul. First couple years were decent. Last 2 years, disaster. Online shopping crushed them. Young people all left. The only customers now are grandpas and grandmas. First floor supermarket survives by selling eggs at a loss. Second floor clothing stores are ghost towns. Third floor restaurants are half dead. The whole building is basically a large indoor air conditioning center for retired people. I turned the wheel. Let's go look. 10 minutes later, the Maybach parked outside Wanjifu Shopping Plaza. The building was 3 stories of red and white aluminum panels, except years of sun and rain had faded the red to a depressing brownish orange. The LED sign above the entrance had burned out bulbs, so Wanjifu was missing half its characters. It looked like the building was having a stroke. We pushed through the heavy plastic door flaps, the kind that immediately tell you this establishment does not care about first impressions, and were hit by a wall of smell. Cheap perfume, fried food, and air conditioning working harder than anyone employed here. First floor, supermarket. At the entrance, a mob of grandmothers was swarming a cart piled with discount toilet paper like it was the last supply drop in an apocalypse. We took the escalator up. It groaned and squealed like a dying robot. Second floor, clothing section. Tiny glass-walled shops crammed together, selling clothes in colors and patterns that even my mother would call outdated. Bright reds, neon greens, florals that looked like they were designed during a fever dream. The shop owners sat on plastic stools outside their doors, cracking sunflower seeds and scrolling TikTok at full volume. Multiple phones, multiple videos, all playing simultaneously. Nobody even glanced at us. "See that?" Lu Yuan whispered. "These clothes, my mom would say they're too old-fashioned. They're priced at $280, but if you offer $50 the owner will throw in a hug." At least a third of the second-floor shops were shuttered, with "Prime location for rent" printed on A4 paper and taped to the metal gates. Prime location was doing extremely heavy lifting in that sentence. Third floor, even worse. This was supposed to be the food and entertainment zone. The children's play area, a once colorful ball pit and climbing structure, was closed. The plastic balls were coated in dust. It looked like a crime scene from a children's birthday party that happened 3 years ago, and nobody cleaned up. Half the restaurants were shut down. The survivors had grease-blackened signs and the energy of businesses counting down their final days. I walked into authentic yellow braised chicken rice, 2 tables occupied. The owner, a chubby guy in his 30s, was sitting at the register, hunched over his phone, playing a game. "Are you blind? The dragon got stolen and you just watched," he screamed at his screen. Excellent customer service. I sat down at an empty table. The surface was sticky in a way that suggested it had been sticky since the restaurant opened and would remain sticky until the heat death of the universe. "Boss, 2 small yellow braised chicken, mild spice," I called out. He didn't look up. "Scan the QR code on the table corner." WeChat or Alipay. Lu Yuan paid, then grabbed napkins and started aggressively scrubbing the table. "We drove a Maybach here to eat sticky chicken. Market research," I said, scanning the surroundings. 15 minutes later, the owner brought 2 clay pots over, dropped them on the table hard enough to splash broth everywhere, and turned to leave. "Boss," I stopped him and held out a cigarette. He saw the brand on the pack, decent stuff, and his attitude upgraded by approximately 20%. He took it, tucked it behind his ear, and sat down. "Business seems quiet," I said. "Quiet? I'm about to go bankrupt." He plopped into a chair and sighed. "Less than 30 orders a day. Can't even cover rent. Rent expensive? $80,000 a year. 2 years ago that was manageable. Now this place is a cemetery with fluorescent lighting. See those shops across the hall?" He pointed at the shuttered storefronts. "Last month they all bailed. Didn't even ask for their deposits back. Loaded up their equipment in the middle of the night and fled like refugees. The mall management doesn't do anything." "Do what? With what?" He snort-laughed, looked around, then leaned in and lowered his voice. "Wang Dafa is drowning in loan shark debt. He started some real estate project in the city, completely collapsed. Money chain snapped clean in half. This place can't even pay the cleaning staff, 3 months behind on wages. First-floor suppliers show up at the door every day demanding payment. You have Wang Dafa's phone number? His number? How would a small fry like me have a big boss's number?" He shook his head, then pointed downstairs. "But the supermarket manager on the first floor, guy named Lu, he's Wang Dafa's brother-in-law. He definitely has it. The suppliers go yell at him every time they want money." I nodded, pulled out my phone, and transferred 500 yuan to the chicken guy. "Thanks for the info, boss. Keep the extra for cigarettes." He stared at the payment notification, eyes wide as dinner plates. No, no, I can't. Wait, are you here to collect debt from him too? I smiled. No, I'm here to give him money. From the third floor, I marched straight down to the first floor supermarket. Manager Lou was down here somewhere, and he was my ticket to the big boss. The supermarket was about 2,000 square meters, decent size, but it looked like it had been slowly bleeding out for months. The shelves were technically organized, but half of them had gaps so wide you could park a bicycle in there, filled with random cardboard boxes pretending to be promotional displays. Two of the refrigerators in the fresh section weren't even turned on. The vegetables looked like they'd given up on life yesterday, and nobody had broken the news to the customers yet. For checkout lanes, two staffed. One cashier was face down on the counter, napping. The other was watching a historical romance drama on her phone, volume low but not off, so the whole area had this faint soundtrack of ancient Chinese flirting. I followed the signs to the back office. Past the warehouse, half empty, one guy sitting on a forklift eating instant noodles, who acknowledged my existence with a slight chin raise, the universal male greeting, and down a hallway to a gray fire door. Someone had printed, "Office, NO unauthorized entry," on A4 paper and taped it to the door. One corner had peeled up. Very authoritative. I pushed it open. 20 square meter room. 3 desks. The big one by the window belonged to a round-faced guy with a receding hairline, wearing a wrinkled blue polo with the Wanjifa logo on the chest. His desk was buried under receipts, account books, empty cigarette packs, and an ashtray so full of but it looked like a tiny graveyard. The second that door opened, this man launched out of his chair like he'd been electrocuted, face going pale. "I told you people, the payments will be made next month. I swear." Then he saw me. Didn't recognize me. Full stop. Error. Reboot. "Who are you, Manager Lou?" "Who's asking?" "Lu Ming. Yunming Investment Company, Limited." I walked in, pulled up a chair like I owned the place, which, technically, I was about to try to do to his place, and sat down. "Just need a few minutes of your time." He stayed standing, hands on the desk, full defensive posture. "Yunming Investment? Never heard of it." "You a supplier?" "No." "Debt collector?" "Also no." His entire body deflated with relief. Shoulders dropped 2 inches. He sank back into his chair, pawed through the ashtray looking for a surviving cigarette, found nothing, then dug a flattened pack out of a drawer. "Then what do you want?" I pulled out my own cigarettes and offered him one. He took it, checked the brand, approved, and lit up. "I want to meet Wang Dafa." His smoking hand froze mid-puff. "Why?" "Business. He's not seeing anyone." Smoke exhaled, head shaking. Lately, he won't meet anyone. Barely picks up his phone. "If you want to rent space in Wanjifu, talk to me. Lots of openings. Very negotiable pricing." He said that last part like a doctor telling you the patient was resting comfortably. We both knew the patient was dying. "I don't want to rent space." I crossed my legs, tapped my knee. "I want to buy Wanjifu." 2 seconds of absolute silence. His cigarette nearly fell onto the desk. "Buy? The whole thing. Building, land, brand. Package deal. I take everything." He stared at me. Eyes moved from my face to my clothes to my shoes, running some kind of internal wealth assessment algorithm. "Kid, no disrespect, but how old are you?" 25. 25 and you want to buy an entire shopping center? "Do you know how much Wanjifu is worth?" "You tell me." He ground his cigarette into the ashtray, squinting at me sideways. "When my brother-in-law built this place, just the land and construction cost over 40 million. Fit out and equipment was another 10+ million. We're talking 50, 60 million total. And you want to buy it?" I didn't argue. Just pulled out my phone, opened a photo, and turned the screen to face him. The New City Commercial Building. Glass curtain walls reflecting a blue sky. His eyes locked on. I swiped to the next photo. The property certificate. Rights holder, Lu Ming. He leaned forward, mouth slightly open, cigarette ash falling onto his desk unnoticed. "That's the new district. The abandoned. The startup park? Not a startup park anymore. That's my office building now." I put my phone away. "Manager Lou, I'll be direct. You know Wanjifu's situation better than I do. 3rd floor half shut down. 2nd floor a third empty. Suppliers banging on the door, demanding money. Cleaning staff unpaid for 3 months. Your brother-in-law's funding chain is snapped. This place can't last much longer. Better to sell now, while someone's still willing to buy, rather than watch it rot from the inside out." He said nothing. Took 2 savage drags on his cigarette, the tip glowing angry red. "I can't make this decision. I know. That's why I need Wang Dafa's number. He wavered for a long time. Picked up his phone, scrolled through contacts, put it down. Picked it up again. Are you actually legit? Check with the county government. Director Wang at the Finance Bureau knows me. More hesitation. A final, heavy sigh. He grabbed a sticky note, scrawled a phone number on it, tore it off, and slid it across the desk. That's my brother-in-law's personal number. But I'm warning you, his temper is terrible right now. Hangs up on everyone. If he curses you out, that's on you. Appreciated. I pocketed the note and headed for the exit. At the supermarket entrance, my phone buzzed. WeChat message from Shunli. Mr. Liu, I'm at the company. Nobody's here. I texted back while walking. Keys hidden in the flower bed by the front door. Look around. Start planning the floor layout by function. I'll be back after I finish something. I saved Wang Dafa's number, but didn't call. Not yet. This required finesse. You don't call a drowning man and open with, "Hey, I'd like to buy your sinking ship." You have to find the exact number that hurts him just enough to let go, but not so little that he'd rather go down with it. I got in the Maybach, reclined the seat, cranked the AC, and sat in blissful silence. Lu Yuan came out of Wanjifu holding a plastic bag. She got in and placed it carefully by her feet. Eggs. $3.90 a pound. Couldn't pass that up. She buckled her seatbelt. So, what did you find out? Got Wang Dafa's number. And then I need to figure out the right price. She rested her chin on her hand. Bro, why do you want this supermarket so badly? It doesn't exactly scream profitable investment. I smiled. Is Pang Donglai profitable? Well, obviously. Her eyes went wide. Wait, you're not planning to turn this Wanjifu into a Pang Donglai, are you? I kept my eyes on the road, voice calm. Pang Donglai is great, but Yunming County doesn't need a copy. It needs its own miracle. She sat there in stunned silence, clutching her discount eggs, staring at me like I'd just said something either brilliant or completely unhinged. Honestly, probably both. I drove back toward the office, folding and unfolding Wang Dafa's phone number in my hand. The trick was finding that perfect price, the number that makes a desperate man wince, but nod. Too high, and I'm a fool. Too low, and he hangs up. Not yet. First, let me go see what Shin Li's done with the building. The eggs could wait. The miracle could not. I pulled the Maybach into the plaza and walked into the building, and for a second I thought I'd entered the wrong address. The floor was clean. Not, someone dragged a mop across it once, clean. Actually, genuinely, aggressively clean. The gray tiles were still damp and gleaming. The circular reception desk had been wiped spotless, and sitting on top of it was a glass vase, found from God knows where, stuffed with wildflowers picked from the roadside. Yellow ones, white ones, leaning in every direction like a tiny drunk bouquet. It had no right to be charming, but it was. Shinli was standing at the second-floor stairway, holding a marker pen and a roll of masking tape, like weapons of mass organization. Lu Yuan spotted her instantly. Oh, Shinli, it's really you. Shinli turned around. Lu Yuan? What are you doing here? I blinked. You two know each other. Lu Yuan gave me a mischievous grin. Pretty girl business. Stay out of it. Shinli smiled. We knew each other from high school. Great. Saves me an introduction. I nodded toward the stairs. Show me what you've got. I went up to the second floor, and my brain short-circuited. Every glass partition in the hallway was covered in strips of masking tape, each one neatly labeled in marker. CEO office, finance department, HR and admin, conference room A, conference room B, reception room, break area, archives. She'd been here 3 hours. 3 hours. I walked the hallway while she followed, giving me the tour like she'd been running this building for years. Second floor is your core office area. The 3 south-facing rooms get knocked into one. That's your CEO office. Private bathroom, rest area. Next door, finance on one side, HR and admin on the other. Keep the 2 existing conference rooms, just by new projectors. End of the hallway becomes an open break area. When you have more staff, they'll need somewhere to breathe. Third floor, multi-purpose. When the business expands, convert it to a second office zone or training center. Fourth and fifth floors stay sealed until headcount justifies opening them. Sixth floor, that big open hall, don't touch it. Save it for large conferences or investor events. Lu Yuan was trailing behind us, trying not to look impressed and failing. But when she reached the finance department label, she couldn't resist. This room faces north. Heating costs in winter won't be cheap. Shinli turned around with a calm smile. Finance work requires absolute quiet and concentration. North-facing rooms have stable light, no direct sun glare, less drowsiness. Ideal for reviewing accounts. As for heating, we can add insulation during renovation or install more efficient units. We can discuss the costs. Lu Yuan's mouth twitched. No rebuttal. When a professional makes you sitting in a cold room sound like a strategic advantage, you just accept it. I walked into the space marked CEO office. 3 rooms knocked together would give me about 80 square meters. Great natural light. Through the windows, I could see Yingbin Road and residential buildings in the distance. Floor, basic gray tile. Walls, white plaster. Empty as my social life in Shanghai. Furniture, equipment, network wiring. I made a list. Shenli pulled a twice-folded A4 sheet from her pocket. I scanned it. This wasn't a list. This was a military supply manifest. Brand and model numbers for every desk and chair. Printer ink consumption per month. She'd even specified which brand of hand dryer to install in the bathrooms. Hand dryers. She'd been here since 9 o'clock, and she'd already formed opinions about hand dryers. At the bottom, a handwritten note. Recommend prioritizing local suppliers. Estimated total, 340,000 to 420,000 yuan. What time did you get here? I asked. 9. You did all this in 3 hours. She tucked the marker into her pocket. When I was doing HRBP, the company relocated 3 times. Every time, admin dragged me in as manual labor. I've pulled network cables, carried servers, used a power drill to bore through walls. This was nothing. I folded the list, pocketed it, and walked to the window, my back to both of them. Split the renovation work between you two. Shenli handles the plan and procurement. Lu Yuan handles payments and accounting. Budget ceiling, 500,000. Source locally as much as possible. I want it done in 10 days. 10 days? Lu Yuan yelped. Bro, my neighbor Oldly took 2 weeks just to renovate a bathroom. Then hire 5 old lease and run them simultaneously. She rolled her eyes, set down her bag of discount eggs, pulled out her notebook, and started calculating. Shenli didn't waste a syllable. Just nodded and headed downstairs, already dialing her phone. Her voice echoed up from the stairwell. Hi. Is this the county building materials market? I'd like to ask about wholesale pricing on office furniture. The hall went quiet. I pulled out the sticky note from my pocket. 11 digits. Blue ballpoint pen. Manager Lu's handwriting wasn't pretty, but every number was legible. I dialed. 6 rings. Who's this? The voice was sandpaper, hoarse, smoky, the voice of a man who'd been chain-smoking through his problems. Mr. Wong, hello? My name is Lu, from Yunming Investment Company, Limited. 2 seconds of silence. Don't know you. What do you want? I'd like to talk about Wanjifu. 2 more seconds. Longer this time. I could actually hear someone taking a deep, slow drag on a cigarette through the phone. Where do you get my number? A friend? Which friend? That's not important. I leaned against the window frame. Mr. Wong, I know Wanjifu's situation. 3rd floor restaurants half shut down. 2nd floor vacancy over 30%. 1st floor suppliers lining up at the door for their money. And your real estate project in the city isn't going well either. Through the phone, the sharp squeak of a chair as someone sat bolt upright. Who the hell are you? His voice pitched up. The guy who's here to give you money. Dead silence on both ends. 5, 6 seconds passed. Then Wang Dafa spoke again. The defensiveness was gone, replaced by something tired and cautiously curious. You said you're an investment company? Yinming Investment. Newly registered. 3 days ago, I bought the commercial building in the new district. 20 million, full payment. If you don't believe me, check with the Housing Bureau. Silence again. This one stretched even longer. I didn't rush him. I had all the patience in the world. And 60 million yuan arriving at midnight whether I used it or not. Half a minute later, his voice came back. What exactly are you saying? You want to invest, or no games? Straight shot. Mr. Wong, I want to buy Wanjifu. A long, exhausted sigh came through the phone. The kind of sigh that carries years of bad decisions and sleepless nights in it. Fine. Tell me how you want to do this. Face to face. You pick the time and place. Tomorrow afternoon. Old Town, Tea House Street, Qingfeng Pavilion. 3 o'clock. Done. I hung up and stared out the window at Yunming County skyline. If you could call 5-story buildings a skyline. Tomorrow I'd sit across from a broke, desperate man in a tea house and negotiate the purchase of a dying shopping center, so I could resurrect it into something this town had never seen. Just another Tuesday when you have 60 million yuan a day and absolutely no chill. Midnight. System refresh. Right on schedule. like a paycheck from the universe's most generous employer. Today's deposit, 60,024,700 yuan. Received. Account balance, 300,173,500 yuan. 300 million. 300 million. And I'd spent about 22 million total across all my wild shopping sprees of a building, a car, some noodles, and a foot massage. I couldn't sleep. 300 million in my bank account, and I was lying in bed doing math on my phone like a student cramming for an exam. I opened my notes app and typed out everything I knew about Wanjifu. 4 acres of land, 6,000 square meters, 3 floors, built 5 years ago for 55 million total. Currently bleeding from every orifice. Suppliers demanding money. Staff unpaid. Owner drowning in debt from a failed real estate project somewhere in the city. At the bottom I wrote, estimated floor price, 12 to 15 million. Here's the logic. 55 million 5 years ago, depreciate it properly, book value lands around 30 million. But book value is a fairy tale. Nobody in Yunmeng County has 30 million lying around for a shopping center that's actively dying. Wang Dafa needed cash now, not in 6 months. And in this county, the number of people who could swallow a deal this size could be counted on one hand. And none of them would touch it. Except me, the idiot with 60 million a day and a magical bank account. Next afternoon, 2:40 p.m., I drove to the old part of town. Tea House Street was tucked in an alley off the main road, stone-paved, lined with renovated fake antique buildings. Tea House Street was a generous name for 4 tea shops, 2 mahjong parlors, and a store selling herbal foot soap packets. Qingfeng Pavilion sat at the very end. 2-story wooden building, bamboo curtain hanging over a half-open door. I pushed through and got hit with a wall of aged pu'er tea aroma, the kind of smell that says, serious conversations happen here. Downstairs, 2 old men playing chess next to enamel mugs. A window table set up with tea equipment, waiting for us. Mr. Liu, a voice from the staircase. I looked up. Wang Dafa, early 50s, not tall, maybe 5'6", but wide shoulders. Wearing a dark gray linen shirt, untucked, hanging loose. His face had that deflated look of a man who hasn't slept properly in weeks. Heavy bags under his eyes. But the eyes themselves were still sharp, still calculating. Scanning me the way a poker player reads a new opponent. This was a man who used to command rooms. Now the rooms were commanding him. Mr. Wang. I walked up the stairs and extended my hand. He shook it. Firm, but brief. Upstairs, private room. Traditional wooden table. Tea already brewed. He poured mine first. Good manners still intact despite everything falling apart. Then poured his own. You don't look very old, he said. 25. 25. He repeated it like he was tasting the number for bitterness. He reached for his cigarette pack. Soft Zhonghua, the fancy brand. But the pack was crushed and deformed, only 2 cigarettes left inside. The luxury brand with the poverty packaging. A perfect metaphor for his entire situation. He lit one, offered me the other. I don't smoke, but thank you. He took a long drag, smoke curling out of his nostrils like a tired dragon. 25 years old, bought a building, started a company, and now you want my shopping center. Who's your father? Mr. Wang. Heroes don't ask about origins. He stared at me for 3 seconds. Didn't push it. 20 years in business. He'd met plenty of people who didn't show their cards. Background doesn't matter. Money does. You've been to Wanjifu? I have. Impressions? I picked up the tea. Genuinely good stuff. Smooth. Deep. With a slow sweetness that lingered. I set the cup down. I'll be direct. Wanjifu is a swimming pool with holes in the bottom. 3rd floor lost half its tenants. 2nd floor vacancy is over 30% by my estimate. 1st floor suppliers are banging on doors. Your cleaning staff hasn't been paid in 3 months. A muscle in his face twitched. You've done your homework. Spent some time. He crushed his cigarette into the ashtray, leaned forward. Mr. Liu, since you've done your research, you should also know this. When I acquired that land, the transfer fee alone was 12 million. 3 floors plus renovations cost another 30+ million. Equipment, shelving, cold chain systems. Altogether, 55 million. I know, 55 million. How much are you offering? I didn't answer immediately. Let the silence work. Mr. Wang, 55 million was 5 years ago. Commercial real estate isn't gold. It doesn't hold value on its own. Your cold chain system? 2 refrigerators are already shut off. 2nd floor glass partitions have cracks nobody's fixing. That children's play area on the third floor? The ball pit has a layer of dust so thick I could write my name in it. Last time those balls were sanitized was probably last year. Maybe. His jaw tightened. Those are surface issues, he said, voice dropping lower. The location speaks for itself. Most central commercial spot in the new district. You won't find another piece of land like this anywhere in Yunmeng County. I agree about the location. I nodded. But location is only worth something if the thing sitting on it generates value. Wanjifu isn't generating value right now. It's consuming it. What's your monthly operating cost? Property management, utilities, wages, plus interest on supplier debts. You're burning at least 200,000 a month. How many more months can you last? That one landed. Direct hit. Wang Dafa stood up, walked to the window, pushed open the wooden shutters. Ali breeze rushed in, scattering the tea steam off the table. He stood with his back to me for 30 seconds. Give me a number, voice barely above a whisper. 15 million, he turned around. His face was doing about 6 things at once, none of them happy. 15 million? I put in 55 million and you offer me 15? Mr. Wang, I'll be honest, my voice didn't change speed. If you don't sell to me, what's your plan? Keep going? Wait until the suppliers file a joint lawsuit and the court seizes everything? Or wait for an employee to report unpaid wages to the Labor Bureau and you end up on the evening news? He sat back down, picked up the last cigarette in the pack, the very last one, his final soldier, and lit it. 20 million. Smoke exhaled. Below 20, we're done talking. The moment he counteroffered, I knew I had him. If 15 was truly insulting, he would have walked. The fact that he negotiated meant 15 was in the neighborhood. He was hurting. He just wanted to hurt a little less. I shook my head. 19. His teeth were clenched. 15. I looked at him calmly. Mr. Wang, this isn't a vegetable market. Haggling back and forth is pointless. 15 million for a 55 million property. Brutal? Yes. But I was betting everything on one fact. Wang Dafa had no other options. Mr. Wang, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm the first person who's approached you about buying Wanjifu, aren't I? No answer. Why hasn't anyone else come to talk? It's obvious. In business, nobody takes over a money-losing operation. In all of Yunmeng County, I'm the only person who can take this off your hands. Still nothing. I stopped talking, drained the last of my tea in one gulp, stood up, straightened my shirt. It seems Mr. Wang hasn't quite hit rock bottom yet. My apologies for being presumptuous. Since we can't agree, let's not waste each other's time. I turned and walked toward the stairs. No hesitation. No looking back. Smooth, steady steps. The walk of a man who has 300 million yuan in his bank account and literally nowhere to spend it, pretending he can take it or leave it. My hand was about to touch the bamboo curtain when a hoarse voice came from behind me. Wait, my hand was on the bamboo curtain. Cool to the touch. I counted 2 seconds, slowly, deliberately, then let go and turned around. Wang Dafa hadn't moved, still sitting. Cigarette burned all the way down to the filter, a long tube of ash dangling like it was also waiting to hear what he'd say next. He was staring at his teacup like it owed him money. Sit down. His voice was different now. The fight was gone. I sat. He crushed the cigarette, but into the ashtray with more force than necessary. The ashtray was already overflowing. A few butts got evicted onto the table. Casualties of negotiation. 1,600. Can we do that? He looked at me. I shook my head. Kid, you're seriously going to die on this hill over 1 million? You bought an entire building without even haggling. I smiled. Mr. Wang, that was a different deal. We're talking about Wanjifu right now, and right now, it's worth what I offered. 14 seconds of silence. I counted. Fine. 15 million. I nodded. No handshake. No dramatic music. No slow-motion shot of 2 men reaching across a table. A 15 million yuan deal settled over 1 pot of tea and 2 cigarettes. That's it. Capitalism in a tea house. I'll get a lawyer to draft the contract. Send it to you tomorrow, I said. Don't bother waiting till tomorrow. Wang Dafa reached behind him to the windowsill, grabbed a beaten-up old briefcase, fought with the zipper for 2 yanks, and pulled out a stack of documents. Property certificate, land use certificate, equipment inventory, tenant contract records. He laid them out one by one on the table. I brought everything. I looked at the documents. Looked at him. This man had walked in here saying, below 20 million. Forget it. While carrying a briefcase full of complete transfer paperwork. He'd been ready to sell before he sat down. The entire negotiation was theater. We both knew it. Neither of us said it. Your lawyer or mine? I asked. There's only one decent law firm in the county. Zhengxin Law Office, on Center Road. Owner's surname is Fong. Tell him Wang Dafa sent you. He'll know what to do. Deal. I extended my hand. This time he took it. Gripped hard. The kind of handshake that isn't about greeting, it's about letting go of something. Mr. Liu. He released my hand and poured himself one last cup from the empty teapot. Nothing came out. He set it down anyway. Sit. I want to tell you something real. I sat. The day Wanjifu opened, his eyes went somewhere far away. Firecrackers went from one end of the street to the other. Red confetti everywhere. Every county leader showed up. The county magistrate personally cut the ribbon. That feeling. I thought I was invincible. A bricklayer who built the biggest shopping center in the county. Everywhere I went, people called me Boss Wong. At restaurants, people fought to pay my bill. He paused. But you know how the next 5 years went. I didn't interrupt. First year, yeah, I made money. But before the money was even warm in my pocket, the vultures came. Fire department showed up. Said my sprinkler system didn't meet standards. Needed rectification. Sure, I'll fix it, but you have to use their designated contractor. Quotes, double the market rate. Try hiring someone else. They come back every other week to slap a closure notice on your door. Environmental department showed up. Said my restaurant exhaust emissions exceeded limits. I'd spent $600,000 hiring a provincial-level company to install the ventilation system. Absolutely up to code. But they said my inspection report wasn't from an approved agency. Had to redo the testing. $80,000. Paid it. 2 months later, a different inspector came. Said it still didn't meet standards. City management showed up. Said my outdoor advertising sign exceeded the planning red line. That sign's placement was approved by the planning bureau after I acquired the land. But city management had a different document. Said the advertising regulations had been updated. Want to keep your sign? $3,000 a year in road occupation fees. Tax bureau showed up. Audited my books. Found some expense reports that were non-standard. Fined me. 6 months later, came back again. Said my corrective measures from last time didn't comply with new regulations. Fined me again. He reached for the teapot. Empty. He set it down. The worst one was year 3. I'd acquired land in the city for a residential project. Someone from a county department came to find me. Said doing projects outside the county is fine, but don't forget your obligations at home. Asked for $500,000 in sponsorship fees, supposedly for some internal department event. I refused. Then, Wanjifu's fire safety certificate came up for renewal. They held it for 4 months. 4 months without a fire certificate. Technically, the whole mall should have been shut down. Every single day, I was terrified something would actually catch fire, because then it wouldn't be about money anymore. And in the end, I paid. He visibly deflated. Not $500,000. Negotiated down to $300,000. Paid it. Certificate was approved the next day. The room was very quiet for a very long time. Mr. Liu, I'm not telling you this for sympathy. He stood up and zipped his briefcase shut. I'm warning you. You have money. You're young. You think you can change this county. I thought the same thing once. But a county town isn't Shanghai. Shanghai has problems. But the rules are the rules, and the process is the process. Here, the rules are made by people. The process depends on whose face they're looking at. If you don't understand how things work around here, you can pour money into this place and not even hear a splash. I looked at him. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Don't thank me. He tucked the briefcase under his arm, walked to the door, stopped, didn't turn around. The name Wanjifu. Are you keeping it? No. What are you changing it to? Haven't decided yet. He nodded, pushed through the bamboo curtain, and walked away. His footsteps went down the wooden staircase, one step at a time, getting quieter until they were gone. I sat there alone. I replayed everything he'd said. Fire department, environmental bureau, city management, tax authority. Every department was a checkpoint. Every checkpoint had a person behind it. And every person had a price. Back when I was doing social media, I thought clients were the hardest creatures to deal with on earth. Turns out clients are baby lambs compared to county-level bureaucrats with rubber stamps and flexible ethics. I'd already gotten a taste of this myself. When I bought the office building, the finance bureau tried to skim 30% of my future profits before I'd earned a single yuan. They dressed it up as supporting county development, but let's call it what it was. My phone rang. Zhou Yin, the land bureau guy. Mr. Liu, his voice was practically vibrating with excitement. I reported to the director about the industrial to commercial conversion. He says we can treat it as a priority project, try to fast-track it. It'll still be difficult, but with everyone working together, I'm sure your shopping complex will be built in no time, I smiled. Section Chief Zhou, I've changed my mind. Huh, that land, I have a different use for it now, because I didn't need to convert 100 acres of industrial land into a shopping center anymore. I just bought one for 15 million yuan from a broken man in a tea house. And he'd given me something even more valuable than property certificates. He'd given me a map of every landmine buried beneath this county's smiling surface. Zhengxin Law Office was sandwiched between a print shop and a cigarette and liquor wholesale store on Center Road. The brass nameplate on the door had green rust creeping up the letters like ivy, trying to reclaim the building for nature. Very prestigious, very confidence-inspiring. I pushed open the glass door. The receptionist was a fresh-out-of-college girl with a round face and chunky glasses, fixing contract formatting on her computer. She gave me a paper cup of warm water. The rim of the cup had little paper fibers sticking out, which I chose to interpret as rustic charm, rather than, we buy the cheapest supplies possible. The waiting area had 2 sofas, a coffee table, stacked with copies of Law and Life magazines so yellow they might qualify as historical artifacts, and a few silk banners on the wall from grateful clients. The newest one was from 2 years ago. Business was clearly booming. From the back office, I could hear a woman's voice dissecting someone's legal position with surgical precision. The premise for contract termination is fundamental breach by the other party. Your unilateral notice has no factual basis. They could easily countersue. 2 minutes later, the door opened. Fang Yu walked out. Mid-30s. Slim. Black tailored suit dress. Hair pinned up, exposing a long, elegant neck. Barely any makeup. Just shaped eyebrows and a muted lipstick that said, I'm professional, not trying to impress you. A Longines watch on her left wrist. Nothing extravagant, but it fit her perfectly. She looked like she'd been accidentally delivered to the wrong law firm. This woman belonged in a glass tower in Shanghai, not a rusty sign office between a print shop and a liquor store. She noticed me on the sofa. Her eyes paused for exactly 1 second. Processing, why is a 20-something kid sitting in my office? Attorney Fong, my name is Liu. Wang Dafa sent me. At the name, Wang Dafa, her face showed absolutely zero reaction. Complete emotional flatline. Professional poker face, flawless. Come in. Her office was small but immaculate. Solid wood desk taking up most of the space. Files stacked with military precision. Pens in the holder organized by color. The bookshelf was packed with law books, several of them read so many times the spine text had been rubbed into oblivion. On the top shelf, 2 framed photos, one outside a courthouse, one at a lawyers' association event. In both, she smiled the way lawyers smile, carefully. She sat down, opened her laptop, pulled up a blank document with long, slender fingers. All business. Dafa called me. You're acquiring Wanjifu. Need me to draft the contract? Yes. Purchase price agreed? 15 million. Her typing hands paused for 1 beat. She looked up at me. Just 1 look. Then back to the screen. Full payment? Full payment. She didn't question the price further. Professional restraint. I respected it. Let's confirm the asset scope. Full lawyer mode activated. Wanjifu Shopping Plaza, the building and land use rights. Correct? Correct. Plus all fixed assets inside. Shelving, cold chain equipment, fire systems, elevators, central air conditioning. Everything that's bolted down comes with. The brand? Do you want the Wanjifu trademark? No. I'm renaming it. Employees? Take them all initially. New contracts. Adjust later based on actual needs. She finished typing, then stopped. Hands folded neatly in front of the keyboard. Mr. Liu, 1 question. Go ahead. Have you looked into Wanjifu's current debt situation? My eyebrow twitched. She pulled a manila folder from her drawer and opened it. Inside, a stack of printouts. I've worked with Wang Dafa for 5 years. I drafted the original lease templates when Wanjifu opened. I was also his legal counsel for his real estate projects. She pushed the folder to the center of the desk. This isn't me betraying client confidentiality. This is me making sure you know what you're walking into. Because if you sign this contract blind, you're not buying a shopping center. You're buying a bomb. I opened the folder. Page 1, Court Filing Notice. Plaintiff, Hueda Foods, a supplier. Cause, breach of sales contract. Amount, 1.2 million yuan. Filed 1 month ago. Page 2, another lawsuit. Xinyuan Daily Chemicals. 870,000 yuan. Pages 3, 4, 5. I kept flipping. 7 lawsuits. 2 arbitration requests. 1 labor inspection complaint. Total, over 6 million yuan. I closed the folder. That's what's been formally filed, Fong Yu said, voice perfectly level. There's more that hasn't gone through legal channels yet, suppliers demanding payment informally. Based on what I know, at least another 3 to 4 million. Combined, Wang Jifu is carrying roughly 10 million in external debt. The room went quiet. Your 15 million minus 10 million in debt means Wang Dafa actually walks away with 5 million. She looked at me steadily. He's not selling to you because you negotiated hard. He's selling because he needs exactly 5 million to plug a hole somewhere else. So that's why he folded so easily. I thought I was a genius negotiator. Turns out the price was never really about Wang Jifu. It was about whatever other fire Wang Dafa needed to put out with exactly 5 million yuan. I was a fire extinguisher, not a buyer. Humbling, but useful information. Do these debts follow the assets, or follow the person? I asked. If you do a share acquisition, buying his company, the debts come with it. Your problem. If you do an asset acquisition, buying only the physical assets, not the company, the debts stay with Wang Dafa's entity. Not your problem. Asset acquisition. Then the contract needs an indemnity clause explicitly stating the acquisition covers only specified assets, with no assumption of any debts or obligations of the original company. Plus, Wang Dafa must provide a written guarantee that the transferred assets are free of mortgages, liens, seizures, or any other encumbrances. She started typing again. I leaned back and watched her work. Screen light hit the side of her face, sharpening every feature. When she typed, her brow drew slightly together, lips pressed tight, total concentration. This woman treated contract clauses like a surgeon treats organs. Every word mattered. Nothing was decorative. 10 minutes later, she turned the screen to face me. First draft. Focus on clauses 4, 7, and 12. I leaned in. 16 clauses, densely written but logically airtight. Clause 4. Asset inventory and delivery method. Clause 7. Payment terms and timeline. Clause 12. Breach penalties. I read through everything, then pointed at Clause 7. I'll pay in 2 installments. 10 million on signing day, 5 million after the property transfer is complete. She nodded, edited the numbers. Also, I pointed at a detail in Clause 12. The breach penalty here is 10% of total contract value. Too low. Change it to 30%. She tapped a few keys, made the change, then looked up. Have you studied law? No. But I can read a contract. In that brief exchange, I could tell. This woman was the real deal. Sharp, thorough, and genuinely cared about doing the job right. In a county full of people trying to skim, scam, or shortcut their way through everything, she was a professional treating her work like it mattered. Like finding a diamond in a bucket of gravel. Attorney Fong. I stood up. Can I have the final version today? By 6. Good. One more thing. Do you have other major clients right now? She blinked. Why? My company needs a permanent legal counsel. If you have the bandwidth, name your price. For the first time since I'd walked in, something shifted behind those composed eyes. Not surprise exactly. More like interest. Fong Yu leaned back and tapped her fingers on the desk twice. The universal signal for, I'm calculating whether you're worth my time. Permanent legal counsel? Yes. My company is going to have a lot of acquisitions, employment contracts, and construction projects. I need a solid lawyer on retainer. She picked up her pen, uncapped it, recapped it, uncapped it again. Lawyer fidgeting. She was thinking, Mr. Liu, let me be real with you. Please, I've been a lawyer in Yunmeng County for 8 years. In 8 years, I've had fewer than 20 corporate clients. Most of them just needed me to clean up messes, debt disputes, labor complaints. Only 2 companies ever hired me as actual legal counsel. One was Wang Dafa's Wang Jifu. The other was the county water company. She put the pen back. The reason is simple. The businesses here are too small, and the owner's understanding of legal needs is even smaller. They think hiring a lawyer is a waste of money. They only remember lawyers exist when they're already neck-deep in trouble and need someone to wipe their, she paused diplomatically, handle the aftermath. 70% of my work is civil lawsuits. 20% is divorce cases. The remaining 10% is actual business law. I read between the lines. So you're saying, you're available? A small nod. Almost imperceptible. What I'm saying is, you need to decide whether you want a rubber stamp who signs papers and looks pretty on your letterhead, or an actual legal partner who solves real problems. The second one. Then I'll price it accordingly. Annual retainer, 120,000 yuan. Contract reviews, legal opinions, and litigation representation billed separately. If a major project needs me on-site, 2,000 per day. Done. She actually blinked. For Fong Yu, this was basically a standing ovation of surprise. You're not going to negotiate? Attorney Fong, for people who are worth it, I never negotiate. 2 seconds of silence. Then, I'll email you the acquisition contract and the retainer agreement together by 6. Save you a trip. Perfect. I stood to leave, then turned back at the door. Attorney Fong, where are you from? Yunmeng County. Always been here. Her typing stopped. No. Zhengzhou University Law School. Worked at a firm in Zhengzhou for 3 years. Then came back. Why'd you come back? She didn't answer. Just lowered her head, fingers returning to the keyboard. 6 o'clock. Check your email. I didn't push. Walked out. Bright sunlight. Center road. Electric tricycles parked along the curb. A woman selling cold noodles was spooning chili oil into plastic bowls with the casual confidence of someone who's done this 10,000 times. Regular Yunmeng County programming. I got in the car and texted Lu Yuan and Shun Li, meeting at the building. 6 o'clock. On the drive back, I took a mental inventory of my team. Lu Yuan, Finance. Shun Li, HR and Admin. Fong Yu, Legal Counsel. Plus me. For people. A company with 100 million in registered capital. For people. 2 of whom started today. 1 of whom was technically an outside contractor. This was, by any professional standard, a clown show. A startup circus. A lemonade stand pretending to be Goldman Sachs. But you have to build the stage before you perform the opera. Back at the building, the lobby had evolved again while I was gone. Shenli had materialized a standing water dispenser from the Shadow Realm. I have no idea where she found it, complete with a fresh water jug already. Loaded. On the reception desk, a stack of A4 paper printed with Yunming Investment Co., Ltd. And a logo, a simple cloud shape with the tagline underneath, rooted in Yunming. Investing in the future. I stared at the logo. You designed this? She poked her head out from the second floor. Quick mock-up in design software. Temporary placeholder. We can get a professional version later. It stays for now. I spent the afternoon in my soon-to-be office, organizing all of Wang Dafa's documents, photographing property certificates, equipment lists, tenant contracts. Then I pulled up commercial real estate acquisition case studies online and cross-referenced them with Wanjifu's situation. I was a social media guy studying corporate mergers through Google. The universe has a sense of humor. At 4:30, 2 emails from Fong Yu arrived. The acquisition contract and the retainer agreement. I opened the contract and read every word. The woman was a machine. 16 clauses plus 4 appendices, every loophole sealed shut. Clause 4 took Wang Dafa's equipment list and broke it down item by item, brand, model, quantity, depreciated value. Clause 12 had the breach penalty at 30%. As I'd requested, plus an extra provision she'd added on her own. If the seller conceals any asset defects, the buyer can demand double repayment of all funds already transferred. I didn't ask for that clause. She just added it. Because she's good at her job. Because she was already protecting me from problems I hadn't thought of yet. I think I'm in love with her legal work. Professionally. Obviously. 6 o'clock. Ground floor lobby. 3 folding chairs arranged in a semicircle around the reception desk. Water cups on a small table next to the dispenser, alongside a bag of discount sponge cakes that Lu Yuan had grabbed from Wanjifu, because she physically cannot resist a bargain. Lu Yuan on the left. Notebook open, pin tucked behind her ear. Shin Li on the right. Phone locked, hands on her knees, sitting with the posture of someone who takes meetings seriously even when the meeting is 3 people and a bag of cheap cake. I stood behind the reception desk, the glass vase of crooked wildflowers at my back. Very CEO. Very corporate. Very, we literally have no furniture yet. Everyone's here. Quick rundown. First, Wanjifu acquisition contract is ready. Signing with Wang Dafa tomorrow. First payment, 10 million. Final payment after property transfer, 5 million. Lu Yuan. This goes through the company account. She nodded, pen flying across her notebook. Second, after we take over Wanjifu, it's getting a complete overhaul. Shenli, start researching hiring needs tomorrow. A shopping center needs at minimum 1 store manager, 3 department supervisors, 30 ground-level staff. Survey the local labor market. See what we can find. Shinli responded immediately. What's the salary range? Entry level starts at 5,000, at least 30% above the county average. Supervisors at 7,000. Store manager, we'll discuss case by case. She was speed typing notes into her phone. Recruitment channels? This county doesn't have active users on Boss GPin or Lipin or any of the major job platforms. Old school methods, I said. Hang a banner outside Wanjifu. Run TikTok ads targeting the local area. Post in the WeChat groups for every township in the county. In a place like this, you don't recruit through apps. You recruit through word of mouth. Find the first batch, and they'll bring their cousins, their neighbors, their entire family tree. She looked up, nodded. Third, and this is the big one. I looked at Shunli. The Wanjifu renovation. I need you to find a top-tier design team. Site survey, blueprints, construction. One standard. Benchmark against Pang Donglai, but the service details, the space design, the overall quality, I want us to surpass it. Completely. Budget? Shinli asked. No budget? What? I said. No budget limit. The lobby went dead silent. Lu Yuan's pen stopped moving. Shinli's thumbs froze over her phone screen. Even the wildflowers in the vase seemed to lean forward. 300 million yuan in my bank account, growing by 60 million every day, with nothing to spend it on. No budget limit wasn't generosity. It was desperation dressed up as ambition. Midnight. System refresh. My nightly allowance from the money gods. Today's deposit, 60,024,700 yuan. Received. Account balance, 360,198,200 yuan. 360 million. Tomorrow I'd spend 10 million signing the Wanjifa contract, which sounds like a lot until you remember I earned that back in about 4 hours of sleeping. My bank account was like a bathtub with the drain closed and the faucet on full blast. I was trying to scoop water out with a coffee mug. Next morning, 9:30 a.m., second floor of my building. Shinli had been there since dawn, transforming the conference room from abandoned construction site into actual place where business happens. She'd wiped the table 3 times, dragged 6 chairs up from the basement storage, placed a bottle of water at each seat, and put a copy of the contract at every position. She'd even brought a potted plant from home, a little green vine thing, and set it on the corner of the table. Lu Yuan eyed it. Sis, where'd you get that? My house. This woman was furnishing an entire corporate headquarters through sheer willpower and personal houseplants. At 9:45, Fong Yu arrived. Different outfit today, wool coat over a navy blue suit, small silver brooch on the lapel. She walked in, scanned the room layout in one sweep, gave a single approving nod, the highest compliment I'd ever seen her give anything, sat down by the window, and unpacked her briefcase. 3 bound contract originals, 2 appendices, 1 guarantee letter, lined up with geometric precision. This woman's desk looked like it had been arranged by a laser level. 10 o'clock. Engine noise downstairs. I looked out the window. A dusty gray Toyota Camry pulled into the plaza. Wang Dafa got out. He'd dressed up today, dark trousers, white dress shirt, but the collar was a size too big, hanging loose around his neck like the shirt remembered a version of him that weighed more. A man literally shrinking under the weight of his problems. Manager Lu followed behind, looking like a hostage who'd been told to act natural. I went down to meet them. Wang Dafa stepped into the lobby, looked up at the 5-meter ceiling, and nodded. Nice place, Mr. Lu. Just getting started. Upstairs. Conference room. Everyone sat down. Wang Dafa and I faced each other. Fong Yu to my right, Lu Yuan to my left. Shinli at the end, taking notes. Lu sat down so nervously he only used half his chair, hands crossed over his belly like he was protecting his organs. Fong Yu opened the contract. Mr. Wang, 16 clauses, for appendices. I can walk through the key points, or skip what you've already reviewed. Skip. Wang Dafa flipped straight to the last page, checked the signature line, then flipped back to clause 4. The asset list. 3 full pages. Every single item in Wanjifu cataloged, from cold chain compressor model numbers to the quantity of toilet paper holders in the restrooms. Fong Yu had been thorough enough to count bathroom accessories. This woman was terrifying. He said nothing. Flipped to clause 7. Payment terms. 10 million on signing day. 5 million within 3 business days of property transfer completion. He closed the contract. Leaned back. Attorney Fong's work is bulletproof, as always. He glanced at her, then at me. Let's sign. 3 pens appeared. I signed first, pressed my thumbprint. Wang Dafa took the pen and stopped. 3 seconds, just holding the pen, staring at the paper. Lu leaned over to peek at the amount on the contract. His Adam's apple bobbed like a fishing float. Then Wang Dafa signed. He pressed so hard the paper dented under the characters, like he was carving his name into the end of an era. 3 originals. 1 for me, 1 for him, 1 for Fong Yu. Lu Yuan, transfer. She opened her laptop. Recipient, Wang Dafa. Amount, 10 million.00. Password, confirm. Ding. Everyone in the room heard it. That tiny little sound carrying 10 million yuan across the digital universe. Wang Dafa pulled out his phone and stared at the screen for a long time. The string of zeros in the deposit notification filled his entire display. He put the phone back in his pocket and exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for 5 years. Attorney Fong, please handle the property transfer. Materials are ready. We can start tomorrow. Meeting adjourned. Shinli collected documents. Lu Yuan photographed the bank receipt and logged it. Lu stood up and shook out his legs. They'd gone numb from sitting on half a chair for 30 minutes. I walked Wang Dafa downstairs. In the lobby, he suddenly stopped. Looked left, looked right, confirming everyone else was upstairs and we were alone. Then he sidled up to me and dropped his voice to a whisper. Kid, let me tell you something extra. Go ahead. Fong Yu, she's very, he searched for the right word, professional. Very responsible. You should definitely keep her as your legal counsel. I nodded. Already did that, but sure. And his voice dropped even lower, eyes darting left and right like a spy delivering classified intel. Her background is not simple. How so? She's related to Judge Zhao, the president of the county court. Some people say it's her uncle. Some say it's her father's sister's husband. Nobody knows the exact relationship. But it's solid. Think about it. Zhengzhou University law degree, doing well at a provincial firm. And she comes back to this county? Why? Because with that connection, anything involving the courts in Yunmeng, she makes one phone call, and it's sorted. Unexpected bonus information. Noted. Wang Dafa saw I wasn't reacting and apparently decided I'd missed the real point. So he shifted gears into territory I did not ask for. Also, one more thing. He cleared his throat. His expression turned. Suggestive. She's single. Never been married. Sure, she's a bit older, but look at her. Does she look 30-something? You could tell people she's 18 and they believe it. Great figure, great personality, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't play mahjong. I've worked with her 5 years and never once seen her have dinner with a man. A woman like that? She's a hot commodity, Mr. Wang. HM? I stared at him for 2 full seconds. I hired attorney Fong as my legal counsel. Not my matchmaker. He chuckled without an ounce of shame. Just saying. Young man like you, building your career is important, but you gotta think about personal matters too. Doesn't your mom nag you about this? I ignored him and opened the front door. He shuffled to his Camry, grabbed the door handle, then turned around one last time with the gravity of a retiring general. Kid, the Yunming County stage, I'm officially off it now. It's your show from here. I smiled, waved goodbye, and watched the dusty Camry disappear around the corner. A man who built the biggest shopping center in the county, got eaten alive by the system, and just sold it all for a fraction of what he put in. Drove away in a car worth less than my monthly system deposit. There was something both sad and instructive about watching him go. I went back upstairs. Fong Yu was packing up with her usual efficiency. Everything's handled. I'll submit the transfer documents tomorrow. Property certificate should be ready in 3 to 5 business days. Thank you. She zipped her briefcase, stood, and paused as she passed me. Mr. Liu, what were you and Wang Dafa discussing in the hallway? Nothing. He shared some operational tips about running Wanjifu. She looked at me. One look. The kind of look that said, I know you're lying and I know exactly what he told you because Wang Dafa has the subtlety of a foghorn. But she didn't press. Just walked out with her briefcase. Professional. To the very last step. Then Shinli appeared with her tablet. Mr. Liu, for the Wanjifu renovation design team, I've contacted 3 firms. One in Zhengzhou, one in Wuhan, one in Xuchang. The fastest one to do an on-site survey is the Xuchang firm. They can come tomorrow. She paused for emphasis. They helped design Pang Donglai's Times Square and Angel City, the firm that designed Pang Donglai's stores. The gold standard. The legendary retail paradise that every Chinese shopping center dreams of becoming. And they could be here tomorrow. No budget limit. The team that built the best. and a 360 million yuan war chest growing by 60 million every night. Yinming County had no idea what was about to hit it. The design firm from Xuchang was called Dingyuan Space, and they sent 3 people. The boss, He Mingyuan, was in his early 40s, gray linen jacket over a black turtleneck, salt and pepper hair that said, "I've designed things you can't afford," and the energy of a man who takes his craft very seriously. Behind him, 2 young designers. The guy was carrying surveying equipment like a pack mule. The girl was dragging a suitcase full of blueprint tubes like she was checking into the world's nerdiest hotel. They'd left Xuchang at 7 a.m. and driven an hour to reach us. Shinli met them at the entrance and brought them upstairs. She bought breakfast from the shop downstairs, fried dough sticks, and spicy pepper soup. Because in this company, hospitality meant street food in a conference room that still smelled like wet paint. He Mingyuan sat down, and before touching any food, scanned the room like an architect evaluating a building's soul. Brand new projector, still in packaging. Whiteboard with the protective film still on. Folding chairs with factory plastic wrap still attached. "How long has your company been operating?" he asked. 1 week, Shunli answered. He nodded, said nothing. The nod of a man recalibrating his expectations in real time. At 8:40, I arrived. Parked the Maybach. Inhaled the last bite of a steamed bun I'd been eating in the car, tossed the wrapper, wiped my hands, and went upstairs. First impressions matter, even when your breakfast is a gas station bun. "Mr. Liu, this is Director He from Dingyuan Space," Shunli introduced. He Mingyuan stood up and studied me the way you study a painting you're not sure is real. He'd worked with coal moguls in gold chains, real estate developers in tailored suits. But a 20-something kid? That was a first. "Director He, great to meet you." I shook his hand. Likewise, he sat back down, hands clasped. "Your manager mentioned yesterday, you want to renovate a 6,000 square meter shopping center, benchmarking against Pang Donglai." "Not benchmarking," I said. "Surpassing," he smiled. The kind of smile a master chef gives when a kid says, "I want to cook better than Gordon Ramsay." "Mr. Liu, we helped design Pang Donglai's Times Square and Angel City. I'll be honest, 70% of what makes Pang Donglai special is their service philosophy and management system. Design is only 30%. You can surpass the space all you want, but without the other 70, it's meaningless. That's why I need you to make the 30% perfect. The other 70 is my problem." He pursed his lips, nodded slowly. "All right, let's go see the site." 2 cars rolled up to Wanjifu. My Maybach leading, his business van following. The convoy of guy with too much money and guy who's about to find out why. He Mingyuan got out, stood in the parking lot, and looked up at the broken LED sign that read, Wanjaf, with the last character missing half its strokes. He didn't say a word, just pulled out his phone and photographed it, the way an archaeologist photographs ruins. Then he went inside and became a completely different person, a machine. Every section of the first floor, walk, stop, photograph, pull out a tape measure, check the aisle width. His 2 designers trailed behind, one shooting laser measurements at the ceiling, the other sketching floor plans on a tablet. Second floor, he stood in front of those empty glass partition storefronts for a long time. Reached out, touched the aluminum frame, scratched the surface with his fingernail like a detective examining evidence. All of these come out. He didn't even turn around. The female designer marked it on her tablet. Third floor, the dead children's play area. He stared at the dust-covered ball pit and the deflated bounce castle that lay in the corner like a giant trash bag that had given up on life. He crouched down and examined the floor structure. "Is the load-bearing capacity of this floor sufficient? Do you have the original structural drawings?" "Yes." "I'll send them over." The entire inspection took almost 2 hours. He went up and down 3 times, photographing everything including fire escape widths and electrical panel locations. This man was more thorough than a crime scene investigator. Back at headquarters, tablet connected to projector. Photos on screen. "Bottom line first," he said, standing at the screen. "The building's skeleton is fine. Frame structure, good ceiling height, reasonable column spacing. But the interior layout is a complete disaster." He pointed at a panoramic shot of the first floor. Supermarket aisles are only 1.6 meters wide. 2 shopping carts side by side, and it's gridlock. Shelving is 2.2 meters tall, blocking all natural light. The entire space feels dark and suffocating. Swipe to second floor. These glass partitions chop the space into tiny boxes. Each shop is under 20 square meters. You can barely turn around inside. This layout belongs in a wholesale market from 2010, not modern retail. Swipe to third floor. Biggest problems here. The kitchen ventilation system is ancient. Cooking fumes are blowing backward into the dining areas. The children's zone has zero separation from the restaurant zone. Major safety hazard. He turned off the projector and faced me. If you just want a quick facelift and reopening, I can do it for under 3 million. But if you actually want what you described, surpassing Pang Donglai. Dramatic pause. This man understood theatrical timing. Then we strip it to the bones and rebuild from the skeleton out. Specific plan? I asked. He grabbed a marker and drew a rectangle on the whiteboard, divided into 3 layers. First floor, no traditional supermarket. Instead, a premium fresh market combined with a community service center. Aisles expanded to 3 meters. No fixed shelving. Use movable island displays that get rearranged regularly to keep things feeling fresh and new. He drew curves in the second floor section. Second floor, all partitions demolished. Open concept brand collection area. A scenic corridor running through the center, zones organized by product category, not by individual shops. Third floor, a big circle. Experience zone. One half becomes a themed food street, not a row of greasy restaurants, but a designed culinary district with actual atmosphere. Other half, family entertainment and cultural space. Reading lounge, craft workshops, small cinema. The goal is making people want to stay an extra 2 hours. He set down the marker. Timeline, 45 days. Design and supervision fees, 1.2 million. Construction costs separate, at this standard, minimum 8 million. Almost 10 million total. Lu Yuan was sweating next to me, the numbers in her notebook getting larger with every sentence. Can you do it in 30 days? I asked. He shook his head. I can double the construction crews and run 24-hour shifts, but custom materials have fixed lead times. The tempered glass for the atrium and the custom island displays need at least 20 days from the supplier. 35 days. That's the absolute limit. 35 days. Done. I walked to the whiteboard and examined his sketches. Design and supervision fees paid in full on contract signing. Construction costs released based on progress milestones. I'll need to go back and produce the formal proposal. Should take about, as fast as possible, 5 days. I'll work overtime. After the Dingyuan crew left, it was already 1 p.m. Lu Yuan ran out and grabbed boxed lunches. 3 of us squatted around the reception desk eating like construction workers. Very CEO lifestyle. Shinli was mid-bite on a piece of braised pork when she said, "Mr. Lu, there's something I need to tell you." I kept chewing. "What?" "While you were at Wanjifu this morning, someone came looking for you. Didn't leave a name. Around 40, black jacket, drove a white Range Rover. Asked the front desk if you were here." I said no. He said it wasn't urgent, he'd come back another time. Say what he wanted. No. But before he left, he stood in the plaza for 5 minutes taking photos of this building with his phone. I stopped chewing. Lu Yuan looked up. A white Range Rover? In this county, the number of people who can afford a Range Rover is very small. Shinli pulled up a photo on her phone. She'd taken it from the second floor window. A white Range Rover parked at the edge of the plaza. License plate clearly visible. Local plates. I stared at the photo. In Yunming County, someone driving a car like that doesn't just randomly wander into your parking lot to take pictures of your building. That's not tourism. That's reconnaissance. I forwarded the photo to Zhou Yan at the Land Bureau. Section Chief Zhou, does this car ring any bells? The message was sent for less than 10 seconds before my phone rang. Zhou Yan calling. Not texting back. Calling. Immediately. "Mr. Lu," his voice was tense. "How did this person find you?" "Well, that's not ominous at all. I don't know him," I said, switching the phone to my other hand. "Why don't you tell me who this car belongs to?" "Mr. Lu, I know this guy. Hu Kuei. Made his money in construction materials." Supposedly, Zhou Yan's voice dropped to conspiracy-level volume. "On the surface, it's building supplies. But the real money? Every municipal project in Yunming County for the past decade, roads, school renovations, government buildings, the materials all go through him. He's been operating here for 15 years. He's got connections above and muscle below." I leaned back, phone pressed to my ear, processing. "You buying the commercial building made noise. Now you've taken Wanjifu too. That means the 2 biggest commercial properties in the new district both landed in the hands of some young outsider in 1 week. You think he's going to sit quietly? Why would he care? Think about it. A renovation project the size of Wanjifu, building materials, construction, fitting, that's millions in orders. When Wang Dafa ran the place, all that work went through Hu Kuei. Every single time. And now you've walked in and taken his customer's entire business. I connected the dots. The county's pie is only so big. I just grabbed 2 slices with both hands, and someone who'd been eating the whole pie for 15 years was staring at me from across the table. Thanks, section chief. I'll handle it. Next morning, 10 a.m. Hu Kuei came back. This time he wasn't empty-handed. The white Range Rover parked dead center in the plaza like it owned the property. A young assistant hopped out and unloaded 2 boxes from the trunk. Box 1 Matai, Flying Fairy Edition. Original case, factory sealed. Market price, nearly 20,000 yuan. The universal Chinese business bribe, gift. Box 2, a gift set of Yanqing Lake Hairy Crab vouchers. Premium 8 crab package. Because nothing says, let's be friends, like luxury alcohol and expensive crustaceans. I straightened my collar in the office mirror, went downstairs. Hu Kuei was already standing at the reception desk. Same black jacket as the photos, but today with a navy polo underneath, collar popped. About 5'9", stocky build, thick short fingers with neatly trimmed nails. His face had that padded quality you get from years of banquet dinners and business drinking. Not fat exactly, more like professionally inflated. He spotted me coming down the stairs and his face rearranged itself into the warmest smile you've ever seen. 2 quick steps forward, hand already extended. Mr. Liu, what an honor. Mr. Hu, welcome. Oh, please. He grabbed my hand, shook it, then slapped my shoulder with his other hand. The kind of immediate physical familiarity that certain businessmen deploy like a weapon. I came yesterday, but missed you. Had to come back today to congratulate you on your new headquarters. He snapped his head at the assistant. Kid immediately carried both boxes inside and placed them on the reception desk with the reverence of a temple offering. Just a small token. Nothing special. I glanced at the boxes. 20,000 yuan of mutai and premium crab vouchers. Very casual. Very, nothing special. The way a Ferrari is, just a car, mister. Who is too generous? I didn't refuse. I also didn't touch them. Let's talk upstairs. Office. Tea. Shinli brought in 2 cups. When she handed Hu Kuei his, I noticed his eyes pause on her for exactly half a second before snapping back. Filed that away. Mr. Liu, truly impressive for your age. He held his tea like a prop. 20 years in business, and I've never met someone in their 20s who could acquire an asset the size of New City Commercial Building. You flatter me, not flattery. He set the cup down. Yesterday when I came by, I just spoke briefly with your receptionist. After I left, I made some inquiries. That's when I learned Mr. Liu didn't just buy this building. You also acquired Wang Dafa's Wanjifu. I sipped my tea. Calm as a lake. 15 million for Wanjifu. Fair price. That mall was rotting under Wang's management. Someone willing to take it over is doing him a favor. He knew the exact number. Of course he did. In Yunming County, information travels faster than light and with less resistance. My building purchase leaked through the government. The Wanjifu deal leaked through Wang Dafa's loose lips, or manager Liu's even looser ones. A secret only stays secret here if 0 humans are involved. Mr. Hu, I'm guessing you didn't come just to deliver gifts. Please, speak freely. Mr. Liu gets straight to business. I like that. He put his tea down and leaned forward. I hear Wanjifu is getting a major renovation. That's the plan. Renovation means construction. Construction means materials. Cement, steel, gravel, panels. In this county, basically all of that comes through me. I also have an experienced construction team. He spread one hand wide. 5 fingers. 50% off. I'll give Mr. Liu everything at half market price. Half price building materials. That would cut my construction costs in half. For any normal business owner, this would be like finding a coupon for reality itself. Irresistible. But I didn't get 60 million a day by being stupid. Wait, actually I did get it for no reason at all. But still, free lunches don't exist. They just hide the bill. I appreciate the offer, Mr. Hu. But 50% off. What do you get out of it? He'd been waiting for exactly this question. Sitting up straighter now, hands on his knees. Mr. Liu, 20 years in building materials. Half the roads, bridges, and buildings in this county used my stuff. But business has dried up. Fewer infrastructure projects, dead real estate market. My production capacity is sitting idle. Workers still need paychecks every month whether we have orders or not. You're investing in this county, building, renovating, constructing. The volume won't be small. I give you half-price materials, you give me a long-term supply contract. My production lines stay busy, your costs stay low. Everybody wins. The logic made sense. On the surface. But here's what he wasn't saying. If I signed a long-term exclusive supply contract, Hukuei's materials would be in every wall, every floor, every ceiling of everything I built. Quality? He decides. Delivery schedule? He decides. Payment terms? He decides. The 50% discount was the candy. The trap was still in his pocket, waiting. I stood up, walked to the window, turned around with a pleasant smile. Mr. Hu, I truly appreciate the offer. 50%? Honestly, I'm very tempted. But although my company is brand new, everything has to follow proper procedures. A procurement project this large, I can't skip the bidding process. My future board of directors wouldn't accept it, and my finance and legal teams would never approve it. His smile stayed. His eyes did not. How about this? I'll prepare our procurement specifications as soon as possible, and Mr. Hu's Kueishing Building Materials is absolutely welcome to participate in the competitive bidding. With your capabilities, winning the contract should be a certainty, right? Public bidding? His eyeballs did one full rotation behind that frozen smile. Yes, he stood up, brushed invisible dust off his pants. The gesture of a man buying time to think. Mr. Liu's approach is very professional. He walked to the door, stopped, turned around. But Mr. Liu, being new in town, you might not be aware, construction projects in Yunmeng County have never gone through a bidding process. I turned to face him directly. They didn't before because nobody showed up who insisted on it. We locked eyes for 1 second. Then he grinned again, slapped the door frame, and said, "Interesting. I'll wait for your bidding announcement." His leather shoes clicked sharply down the stairs and across the lobby. Engine roar from the plaza, gradually fading into the distance. Shunli appeared in the doorway, leaning against the frame. He's gone? Gone. What about the matai and the crabs? Send them back? He didn't leave an address. I thought for a second. Keep them then. We'll open the matai at the company dinner at year-end. Find out his company details later and send him an equivalent gift. Don't owe anyone anything. Got it. She paused. One more thing. The Wanjifa property transfer. Attorney Fong just messaged. The housing bureau says they can't process it right now. My feet stopped. Why? Shinli handed me her phone. Fong Yu's message. One line. The land under Wanjifu has an uncleared mortgage registration. The mortgage holder, Kueishing Building Materials Group Company, Limited. I stared at those words. Who Kuei's company? Holding a mortgage on MY purchase. The land under the building I just paid 15 million for had Hu Kuei's name wrapped around it like a chain. The 50% discount. The matai. The friendly shoulder pat. The let's do business together smile. He didn't come here to be my supplier. He came here to show me he was already standing on my throat. I stared at that one line on the phone screen for 5 full seconds. Mortgage holder, Kueishing Building Materials Group Company, Ltd. Hu Kuei's company. Sitting on MY land like a toad on a lily pad. I handed the phone back to Shunli, walked to my desk, sat down, and picked up my tea. It had gone completely cold, bitter as revenge. Fitting. Lu Yuan poked half her body out of the finance office. She'd obviously seen the message too. Bro, what does this mean? Wang Dafa mortgaged Wanjifu to Hu Kuei? I didn't answer. I called Fong Yu. 2 rings. Attorney Fong, the mortgage situation, what did you find? Her voice was steady as a heartbeat monitor. 2 years ago, Wang Dafa needed 300,000 to renovate the third-floor restaurants. He was short on cash, borrowed 3 million from Hu Kuei, and put Wanjifu's land rights up as collateral. Has the loan been repaid? That's the problem. A pause. I went to the Housing Bureau this afternoon and pulled the mortgage file. The repayment deadline was last June. If Wang Dafa paid it back, he should have gone to cancel the mortgage registration afterward. He didn't. Did he not pay? Or did he pay but not cancel? I called Wang Dafa. He says the money was repaid ages ago. But Hu Kuei has been dragging his feet on the cancellation. Both parties have to appear in person and sign to remove a mortgage registration. If the mortgage holder refuses to show up, you can't cancel it unilaterally. And there it was. Crystal clear. The 3 million was probably repaid. But as long as Hu Kuei refused to sign the cancellation papers, that mortgage sat on Wanjifu's land like a padlock. No cancellation, no property transfer. No property transfer, my 10 million in first payments becomes a very expensive donation to Wang Dafa's retirement fund. Yesterday, this man showed up with mitai and crab vouchers, slapping my shoulder, calling me brother, offering 50% discounts like Santa Claus in a leather jacket. Today, his company is blocking my property transfer. Sweet candy first, knife second. Classic. Brilliant, actually. I'd be impressed if I weren't the one getting stabbed. Attorney Fong, is there a legal way to force the cancellation? Yes, but it's slow. No sugarcoating from this woman. Ever. If Wang Dafa can provide complete repayment records proving the debt is cleared, we can file with the court to confirm the mortgage is extinguished, then use the court ruling to cancel the registration unilaterally. But from filing to ruling, standard procedure, 3 months minimum. Simplified procedure, maybe 6 weeks. Too long. Anything faster? There's transfer with existing mortgage, newer civil code provision. Originally for residential property, but there's commercial precedent. However, even after transfer, the mortgage stays on the property, so I'd own a building with Hu Kuei's name still tattooed on the land underneath. Like buying a house where your enemy still has a key. No thanks. Any other options? Her voice dropped slightly. There's one more approach. If Wang Dafa's repayment records are clean, I can apply for pre-litigation asset preservation, freeze Hu Kuei's rights on the mortgage registration, and simultaneously request expedited adjudication. How fast? If the court cooperates. 7 business days. Do it, Mr. Liu. I should mention, pre-litigation preservation requires the applicant to post a guarantee, usually 100% of the disputed amount. 3 million. 3 million is nothing. Also, she paused one beat. Hu Kuei has a strong network in this county. If he applies pressure through channels, the expedited track could get downgraded to standard procedure. I squeezed the phone, glanced out the window, thought about everything Wang Dafa had told me in that tea house. Then I asked the question, Attorney Fong, how well do you know Judge Zhao, the court president? Silence. Just for a moment. She didn't ask, how do you know about my relationship with Judge Zhao? She was smart enough to know that in Yunmeng County, secrets have the shelf life of ice cream in July. He's my uncle. My father's sister's husband. 5 words. Clean and simple. Then I need you to make a call, Mr. Liu. Her tone stayed perfectly level. I can make that call. But I want you to understand, this isn't pulling strings. It's accelerating efficiency within the legal framework. A case with clear facts and solid evidence should go through expedited adjudication. That's what it was designed for. I understand. I'll handle the repayment documentation. I'm calling Wang Dafa today to get all his bank records and receipts organized. If everything checks out, we file the day after tomorrow at the earliest. Thank you. It's my job. Included in the retainer fee. I hung up and put the phone on the desk. Lu Yuan walked in, still clutching her notebook. Bro, Hu Kuei did this on purpose, right? Obviously. But what's his endgame? Just to force you into buying his materials? I shook my head. Materials are just the front door. What he wants is long-term control. A new guy shows up in town, throwing money everywhere. He'd be a bad predator if he didn't try to sink his teeth in. His entire 15-year network would judge him for missing this opportunity. So what do? Give in? Give in? I actually laughed. When have you ever seen me give in? Fair point. She pursed her lips. But you've also never dealt with someone like this. This isn't writing WeChat articles in Shanghai, tapping away on a keyboard. Hu Kuei plays rough. You go hard. He goes harder, which is why I'm not going hard. I'm letting Fong Yu handle it through the courts. 7 days. 7 days is enough? Fong Yu's uncle is Judge Zhao, the county court president. Lu Yuan stared at me. You're networking. Is that strategic genius or just dumb luck? Little bit of luck. She closed her notebook, thought about it, then opened it again. What about Wanjifu during these 7 days? The design team already went back to Xuchang to draw up plans. We can't just sit around doing nothing. We're not sitting around. I came back to my desk. The major structural renovation needs to wait for the property transfer and permits. But prep work starts immediately. Clear out all the junk inside. Tear down non-load-bearing walls. Resurvey all the electrical, plumbing, and HVAC lines. Get the design work flowing. I'm not letting one man's ego freeze my entire project. Then I turned to Shen Li, who'd been standing there silently through all of this, absorbing everything like a very well-dressed sponge. Shen Li, find Hu Kuei's company address. Send back the mitai and the crab vouchers, untouched, exactly as received. Include an equivalent gift from our company. A proper business courtesy package. I paused. Don't say a single word when you deliver it. Just drop it off and leave. He'll understand. Because in county-town warfare, returning someone's bribe with a polite smile is the most elegant way to say, I see your game. I'm not playing. And I'm not scared. The Matai was going home. The crabs were going home. And Hukuei was about to learn that the new kid in Yunming County had a lawyer whose uncle ran the courthouse. Checkmate in 7 days. Hopefully, Shinli doesn't waste time. By 3 p.m., she was out the door with both boxes. The Matai completely untouched, the crab vouchers still in their original shrink wrap. She'd also purchased an equivalent gift from us. A box of Wulianya liquor and 2 cartons of premium cigarettes. Equal value. No debt. No obligation. Pure power move. Kueishing Building Materials was on Industrial Road in the old part of town. Engineering trucks parked out front, piles of bricks and rebar in the yard. I supply the entire county and you can't do anything about it, energy. The guard stopped her. She said, Yunming Investment. Guard made a call. 2 minutes later, access granted. The front desk kid, crew cut, gray polo with the Kueishing logo, told her Hukuei wasn't in. No problem, Shinli said. She placed the Matai and crab vouchers on the counter, then placed our gift next to them. These were sent to our company by your Mr. Who? Our Mr. Liu appreciates the thought, but company policy prohibits accepting external gifts. Returning the originals. The package next to it is our courtesy gift. Please pass everything along. Then she turned and walked out without another word. In the rearview mirror, the kid was already on the phone. News in Yunming County travels at the speed of gossip, which is faster than light. By 4 p.m., Zhouyan was calling me. Mr. Liu, you sent back Hukuei's Matai? Yep. The entire county knows. His voice was barely above a whisper. Hukuei's people are posting in their WeChat moments. No names, but everyone knows who they're talking about. Stuff like some people don't understand the rules, refuse a toast, and you'll drink a penalty. Expected. See, in county-town social politics, returning a gift is worse than refusing one. If you refuse, the other person can save face. Maybe they really do have a company policy, but returning it? Untouched. Original packaging? That says, your gift isn't worth opening. Hukuei wasn't going to swallow this. But I needed him uncomfortable. Comfortable people are patient. Uncomfortable people rush. And people who rush make mistakes. Thanks, Section Chief. Hung up. Lu Yuan came in with 2 cups of water, sat across from me, crossed her legs on the chair, and started cracking sunflower seeds like a tiny snacking machine. Bro, honest question. Aren't you worried? Hukuei's been in this county 20 years. Connected to the police, city management, housing bureau, the whole gang. You just slapped him in the face with his own Matai. What if he plays dirty? I thought about it. Inside the rules, he can bring whatever he wants. I'll match him move for move. But if he tries anything outside the lines, he better think carefully about who he's dealing with. Cool. She handed me a pile of pre-shelled sunflower seeds. This woman's true talent might actually be snack preparation. I took them. Oh, one more thing. We're going to be doing a lot of acquisitions going forward. As CFO, you need to start doing proper due diligence on every deal. Background checks, debt checks, everything. I don't want another surprise mortgage. On it. Next morning, 9 a.m. sharp. Fang Yu walked into Yunming County People's Court wearing an all-black suit, carrying her briefcase like a weapon. The filing hall had 4 windows, only 2 open, almost nobody in line. The county judicial system was as quiet as the county economy. Months could go by without a real case. She submitted the materials at window 2. The filing judge was an old man approaching retirement. He flipped through the pages. Plaintiff, Lu Ming. Defendant, Kueishing Building Materials Group. Cause, confirmation of mortgage extinguishment. Amount, 3 million. He looked up over his reading glasses at Fang Yu. Attorney Fang, this case, facts are clear. Evidence is sufficient. Qualifies for expedited adjudication. She pushed a stack of bank statements and receipt copies across the counter. The defendant's loan has been fully repaid. Here are the repayment records. Dates, amounts, and receiving party all match perfectly. Simultaneously applying for pre-litigation preservation. Guarantee funds are ready. The old man flipped through 2 more pages of bank records. His lips moved silently. He didn't say anything. Fang Yu's identity was no secret in this courthouse. Judge Zhao's niece. Proper law school pedigree. 8 years back in the county. Never lost a single case. Not because she pulled strings, but because she locked down every piece of evidence so tightly before filing that even if you wanted to help the other side, there was nothing to work with. She didn't just build cases. She built fortresses. Materials accepted, the old man squared the documents neatly. Pre-litigation preservation ruling will be issued this afternoon, and the case scheduled for expedited track. As soon as possible, Fong Yu nodded, turned, and walked out. She texted me one line, filed. Pre-litigation preservation ruling coming this afternoon. At our building, I was downstairs with Shun Li reviewing the Wanjifu prep plan. She'd drawn a Gantt chart on the whiteboard. 35 days of renovation broken into 6 phases: clearing and demolition, electrical and plumbing survey, structural reinforcement, main construction, equipment installation, finishing touches. The first 3 phases can run parallel with the property transfer, she said, pointing at the first 2 weeks. Clearing and demolition doesn't require ownership. Plumbing surveys are non-destructive, no permits needed. The real work that needs the transfer complete is structural reinforcement and everything after. I did the mental math. If Fong Yu got the court ruling in 7 days, property transfer takes 3 to 5 more, 12 days maximum until Wanjifu was officially mine. 12 plus 23 days of remaining construction equaled 35. Exactly Heming Yuan's deadline. Razor-thin margins, but it worked. Do we have enough people? I asked. Demolition crew lined up, 12 guys. They can start tomorrow. She crossed an item off the whiteboard. Plumbing and electrical survey team is coming from Shuchong day after tomorrow. My phone buzzed. Fong Yu's message. I read it, handed the phone to Shun Li. She raised an eyebrow. Attorney Fong works fast. Her speed doesn't matter. What matters is the court's speed. I pocketed my phone. Now we wait for Hu Kuei's reaction. His reaction came faster than expected. 5:20 p.m. that same afternoon. Kueishing Building Materials Office. Hu Kuei received a phone call from the court. The pre-litigation preservation order had been issued. His mortgage registration rights on Wanjifu's land were officially frozen. In plain language, from this moment, he couldn't exercise the mortgage, couldn't transfer it, couldn't use it as leverage for anything. His little nail hammered into Wanjifu's land had just been encased in judicial concrete. Can't pull it out. Can't hammer it deeper. Can't do a single thing with it. Hu Kuei hung up. His ashtray was overflowing with crushed cigarette butts. 5, 6, maybe more. A graveyard of stress. He picked up his phone, scrolled to a contact saved with no name, just a number, and dialed. 3 rings. Old Hu, what's up? Mahjong tiles clicking in the background. Brother Zhang, there's an expedited case at the court. Can you slow it down for me? Silence on the other end. The Mahjong sounds continued for a moment, then stopped. What case? Mortgage extinguishment dispute. 3 million. Plaintiff is some young guy named Liu. The lawyer is Fong Yu. The Mahjong sounds went completely dead. 2 seconds passed. The voice on the other end dropped low. Fong Yu is on this. Yeah. A sigh came through the phone. Long, heavy. The sigh of a man who just realized his friend was asking him to walk into traffic. Old Hu. This one I can't help you with. Click. Somewhere in Yunming County, a man with a white Range Rover and 20 years of connections was sitting alone in a smoky office, learning for the first time what it felt like to reach for his network and find nobody home. Meanwhile, I was in my building eating sunflower seeds, waiting patiently, with a lawyer whose uncle ran the courthouse and 360 million yuan in my bank account. Sometimes the universe picks favorites. And right now, the universe was picking me.